Oh my god, it actually worked. I never thought I'd see the day. This was terrible. Oh my days. You should be underneath that. Ugh. Whew. I don't like that being there anymore. Do. Fuck off and just let me type, whore. I'm the admin. Yes, let me fucking send it. Hello, failure. Hello, random. How we doing? Fuck. Ugh, bollocks. Where'd I put the pen? Hello, Dante. I'm doing fine. Where did I put the pen? Whatever. I knew something looked wrong. That better? Yep. You're getting on my fucking nerves. Oh, sweating like a fucking whore, though. Can't lie. Can't lie to you yet. Not great. Like everywhere else, South Africa is having a fit about immigration. So yeah, really am fitting with the fucking crowd then. My country is currently in a massive fucking fit, and we've also got a new iconic clip because we've just implemented a under 16s law about social media, and no one is happy. Not a fucking soul is happy about it. Where did he put the music? Was it in... I think it was in the Lord of the Mysteries thing. Nope. Random? Nope. Spoiler discussion? Nope. 18 plus? No. Our channel? No. Mindless rant. Where the fuck did he put the music? Hello, Amethyst. Being ambitious with 2 chapters today. Fuck me. I didn't even think about that. Fucking Christ. Oh, shit. Failure, I fucking love you. Thank you for calling that out. I would have left that there the entire time. There we go. Fucking Christ. That girl saying she's going to be looking at a wall for fun. Yep. Didn't you pin the music? Yeah, that's what I'm fucking looking for. I couldn't remember where it was. Useless. No. Web novel? Doubt it. No. Is it not in main chat? Where the fuck is the music? This is so fucking stupid. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. No. Lord of the Mysteries. No. It should be in Lord of the Mysteries. I don't know why it wouldn't be in Lord of the Mysteries. I'm so fucking stupid. I'm so fucking stupid. No. Am I brain dead? What the fuck? Yeah. The government not realizing that no one wants to go outside because there's literally nowhere to go outside for. Telling your dog, the brain dead. It might be in here. He might have put it in a thingy. Maybe the message was deleted. Why would you delete them? Why delete the message? Whatever. 1 minute. I'll just go on Twitter. Yeah, I would allow my kids playing in the background of a war that is likely to come. I mean, as much as a joke of it is, the deep unfortunate side of it being correct is also scary. Also, have y'all seen the Shrek 5 trailer that came out recently? I have not had time. That's it, yeah. YouTube. Finally caught up to reading this part. I've had to download the translation and edit myself since the translate ESE bothered me so much. There's a trailer, yeah, there's a new Shrek 5 trailer, and where apparently, fuck, who is it? Gingerbread Man's caked up. I wish that sentence didn't have to exist, but it does exist. It was my first Lord of the Mystery stream, right? Yeah. I think that's where he commented it. Yep. I've had no time. Same. My days have been consistent of trying so efficiently hard to not pull my fucking hair out. I see the vision. A caked up ginger baddie. I see the vision. Fuck it. I guess I can just try and open up my history. I don't think it's gonna go well, though. Twitter. By group. Nope. I haven't started reading Lord of the Mysteries, LMAO. Fair. That's very fair. My little brother is teaching my 37-year-old parents what Mog is. Fucking poor parents. Oh, is it this? Found it. I forgot to plug my... There we go. Now you don't hear it through 2 different fucking audio outlets. But yeah, today should be good. My reading has indeed... Is this what I missed after I went to bed? I don't know what Lava King means. At all. The gingerbread man being caked up makes so much sense. Why would his ass be flatbread when he can cake it up? Exactly. He's caked it up with like jelly or some shit. I only saw, like a microsecond of a clip, though. When I read the first 4 chapters, I got stuck in a tangent regarding London's currencies. Oh, don't get me fucking started on the currencies of Lord of the Mysteries, dude. We had a whole fucking tangent about it. I think it was last stream. The last Lord of the Mysteries stream. The Gingerbread Man is supposed to be a biscuit. It doesn't make sense. That's really a culinary dessert. Nope. Bollocks. Oh, whatever. I think I've got it downloaded. Darling, should be better. Found it. Absolutely not. Fuck off. I'm nearly 300 chapters and I still don't understand how the money works in this series. It's honestly more complicated than the power system. I think if I go in my notes, I've got it explained. Ad blocker detected. Bitch, I know. Is normal Gen Alpha actually part of Gen Alpha? He is actually. He's the youngest? I think he's 13, 14, I think. Lie to me. You lied to me. The live stream said it would start at 7:30 p.m., but it's 7:26 for me. I mean, it said 6:30 for me. That's what I put the time on. I don't know why I got stumbled on my words. Secret order. We can fuck that off. Studio. Live read. Nope. Wrong one. Nah. Anyway, I can hide the top bit. Fuck. Nope, apparently not. Alright, guess I'm doing this then. Because I am using the folder that was graciously gifted to me. By, I forget his name, but it helped out a lot. Alright. Way! There we go. Making sure it works. I'm turning 13 on Thursday. Oh, so it's a culmination of 3 different currencies then. That makes a bit more sense on why it's so absolutely fucking boggling to try and get your head around. No. I just want this. Come on. Nope. Okay, great. How about you? Nope. Okay. Just watched the trailer. It's rather strange. Yeah, so I've been told. So I've been told. When is the line between Gen Alpha and Gen Z placed? 2009? I think? '10. 2010. Oh, got you, Dante. Anyway. That makes... Oh, no. That makes more sense. Fucking close that piece of dog shit. Nope. You. Notes. Because it's Lord of the Mysteries, and I will be forgetting shit. That's Shadow Slave from last stream. Yeah. 1 pound equals 20 soil, and 1 soil is 12 pence. I did write it down. It's literally the last thing I fucking wrote down. But I didn't read that much ahead. Last time I was on stream. For Lord of the Mysteries. If the noggin remembers correctly. Last time I ended stream. We had just met up with Benson. Which is fun. Why is this still open? The fuck? And, we met up with Benson. We learned a little bit more about him. Then, Thingy Me Bob was being stalked. Klein was being stalked by somebody. And the last time I checked off was that we had Dawn actually Dune explained the different sets that Klein could incline for when it comes to being a Beyonder. But I'm gonna reread a little portion before then because I feel like it would just do me better. I feel like it'd just be the smarter decision to actively try and remember that than anything else. Or write it down on the computer rather than do that. I have a cousin from 2009, and she's the most Gen Z person I know. My siblings are 2007, and I thought like they were just the tipping off point of Gen Alpha, but no, apparently not. Anyway. Somebody's in Klein's desk. That's when we should actually pay attention. So let's just fucking get to it. Let's see who's stalking our good old buddy Klein. Alright. Chapter 26? Is this chapter 26? Secret Order. Nope. This is 29, right? Oh, wait, no. Secret Order. 28. Secret Order. Yeah, 28. Klein's heart began beating rapidly. It shrank into a clump before expanding abruptly. It made his body tremble gently. There was an instant where he nearly forgot what he had to do until the lurking figure suddenly paused. The figure pricked his ears slightly as though listening for any changes. His blood flowed back into his brain as Klein regained the basic cognitive abilities. He reached beneath the pillow of the wooden grip. For the wooden grip of the revolver. He felt the firm but smooth feeling as he rapidly calmed down. He silently and slowly pulled out the revolver and aimed it at the trespasser's head. To be honest, he had no confidence in striking the intruder. Although he was able to stably hit the target during practice, and a moving person and a fixed target were completely different. He was not arrogant enough to confound the two together. However, he vaguely remembered something in his previous life, the general idea that a nuclear weapon wielded the greatest strength before its launch. The principle held in the current situation. The best deterrence was before he shot. By not pulling the trigger or shooting blindly, the intruder was unable to determine whether or not he was a complete rookie who had an extremely high chance of missing him. His worries and fears would make him deliberate more, causing him to restrain himself. I don't think I'm on the thingy. Nope. In an instant, another arose in him. Gen Z, it ends at 2012. Damn. Fucking hell. Fucking Christ. That is truly dreadful. In an instant, another thought arose in him. The immediate thought made Klein turn decisive. He is not the kind of person who'd turn calmer when faced with danger. Instead, he already imagined the situation when he had faced the observer, using intimidation instead of attacking. The foodaholic empire had an idiom: where there is a precaution, there will be no danger. When Klein pointed a gun at the intruder, the thin man froze suddenly, although he had sensed something. Following that, he heard a voice that hid a chuckle. Good evening, sir. The scrawny man collapsed both of his hands together, and his body seemed tense. Klein sat at the lower bunk, aiming at the person's head with a revolver, and tried to speak as leisurely and neutral as he possibly could. Please raise both your hands and turn around. Try and do it slowly. To be frank, I am very timid and I get nervous easily. If you move a little bit too quickly, I might get frightened, and I can't guarantee there won't be a situation where I misfire. Yeah, that's right. The scrawny man raised both of his hands and held them near his head before turning his body bit by bit. The first thing that came into view was the black tight suit with neat buttons. Next, he caught a pair of brown eyebrows that were thick and sharp. The intruder's deep blue eyes didn't reflect fear, but they gazed upon Klein with the intensity of a ferocious beast. It seemed as if Klein were careless for a second, the other person would leap forward and tear him into pieces. He clutched the handle tightly as he tried his best to appear calm and indifferent. It was only when the thin-faced man him completely did Klein jerk his chin towards the door. He softly and gently said, "Sir, let's take this outside. Do not disturb the beautiful dreams of the others. Oh, and do please slow your motions. Lighten your footsteps a little too. It's basic courtesy for a gentleman." The thin man's cold pupils rolled as they swept Klein's glance. He continued raising his hands as he walked slowly to the door. Under the revolver's aim, he twisted the handle and slowly opened the door. When the door was half opened, he suddenly lowered himself and rolled forward. The door was pulled back by a strong wind and closed in with a slam. Huh? Benson, who was on the top bunk, was stared, and almost woke up in a daze. At that moment, a leisurely and serene melody entered from outside. The heavy and comfortable voice started to sing. Remember the days when people thought the world would end in 2012? What a fucking time period, dude. Being 11 years old in like year 6 and everybody around you, at least all the fucking schizophrenic crazy ones being like, the world's gonna end! The world's gonna end! Especially in like the streets of Liverpool, where I'd walk about at. Insane work. They made a movie about it, Turcoil. Huh? That's a piece of information to know about. Oh, 2012. What a year, brother. Oh, the threat of horror, the hopes of crimson cries. One thing at least is certain. That is life flies. One thing is certain, the rest is lies. The flower that once has bloomed forever dies. The poem that seemed to possess the power to calm and relax others. Benson, who was on the top bunk, and Melissa, who was in the other room, again fell asleep in the grogginess. Klein's body and mind was also peaceful and quiet. He nearly yawned. The way the thin man had darted off was so agile that he could not react in time. Looking at the closed door, he smiled and muttered to himself, "You might not believe it, but I pulled the trigger. You might not believe it, but pulling the trigger would not release a round. The empty changer to prevent misfiring." Following that, Klein listened to the midnight poem as he patiently awaited for the battle outside to end. Within a minute, the tranquil melody, which resembled the reflection of the moonlight on the surface of the lake, stopped. The dark night resumed in a deep silence. Klein suddenly spun the cylinder and moved the empty chamber away as he awaited for the outcome. He uneasily waited for a full 10 minutes. just as he wondered if he should investigate. He heard Dunn Smith's stated and warm voice from outside. "It's settled." "Whew," Klein exhaled. He held his revolver and took the key. Barefooted, he carefully approached the door before silently opening it to see the black trench coat and the halved top hat. Dunn Smith was standing there in his deep, calm grey eyes. He closed the door behind him and followed Dunn to the end of the corridor and stood amid the weak crimson moonlight. "It took me some time to enter into his dream," as Dunn calmly said and looked at the red moon outside the window. "Do you know his background?" Klein felt a lot more relieved. Dunn nodded and said, "An ancient organization known as the Secret Order. They were established in the Fourth Epoch and were related to the Solomon Empire and a number of foreign aristocrats of the period." Huh. The Antigus family diary came from them. Due to a member's neglectance, it entered an antique market and was obtained by Welch. They had no choice but to send people to search for it. Without waiting for Klein's question, he paused before continuing. We will capture the remaining members of the they have according to the clues. Well, it might not end too well. These fellows are good at hiding as the rats in the sewer. But at the very least, they would believe that they will likely obtain the Antigus family notes, or they've obtained a critical clue. In that case, as long as it's not something extremely crucial or important, they would abandon the operation. That is the philosophy on surviving. 2012-2009 disaster films making at its finest. Big missed opportunity for not releasing it on the 2012 proper. Did they never release a disaster film in 2012? I mean, to be fair, if you're thinking the world's ending, why the fuck would you make a disaster film on the actual year where people thought it was going to be ending? But still, that's strange. I thought they would have. I at least would have thought 2012 would have came out in 2012. What if the notebook is extremely crucial and important? Asked Klein worriedly. Dunn smiled without an answer. Instead, he said, "We know very little about the Secret Order. Our success this time is all thanks to your smart wits. This contribution is all yours. In light of the possibility of hidden dangers and heightened perception would aid in finding the notebook. You have a chance at choosing." A chance at choosing? Klein vaguely guessed something as his breath subconsciously turned heavy. Dunn wiped a smile off his face as he said in all seriousness, "Do you wish to become a Beyonder? Or you can choose the starting sequences of the incomplete sequence. Of course, you can give up this chance and choose to accumulate the merit you have garnered. Then, all you have to do is wait until there's sufficient room for you to become a Sleepless, which is also the first complete sequence of the goddess that is bestowed of the Nighthawks." Okay. Night, goddess, or become an incomplete. I was right. Looks like we're gonna see Klein be a fucking guy. Or Klein entering. Give me a minute. They're probably kicking off over the cat. Dog's caught wind of the neighbor's cat. I don't remember the other ways that he explained. I know one's like a fucking zombie man one. I read it all? I read that all right. Yep. Indeed, Klein felt delighted and did not have any hesitant emotions. He took the initiative to ask. Then, which one of the sequence 9s can I choose from? I have to have a detailed information to decide whether to give up or accept, as well as choose which one. Dune turned around and seemed to be cloaked in the crimson veil that shone down on him. He looked up into Klein's eyes and said slowly, "Apart from the Sleepless, the Church has three Sequence 9 potion formulas. One of them is Mystery Prior, which is the power of the old Neil's control. Noelle's fucking hell. Rosanna has likely mentioned this to you. She can never hold her tongue." That's cute. I wrote all this down, didn't I? Yeah. Mystery Prior, which I think is... Yeah, Mystery Prior is the Sequence 9. The other one is Corpse Collector. And then it's Seer. This is why you take notes. He's gonna pick Seer, though. Seer is the one that, Emperor Rose wrote about in the diary. And that's more than likely the one he's gonna pick. Klein smiled awkwardly. At the loss of an answer, thankfully Dune did not mind, as if he continued. Our Mystery Prior potion formulas and the later sequences aren't directly chained were obtained from the Mosaic Aztec Order. Back then it was said that they had yet to fall to corruption. They persisted in their morals and precepts, determined in the pursuit of knowledge. They kept their secrets strictly confidential. Anyone that entered in the order would be barred from speaking for 5 years after becoming a Mystery Prior. They would learn to keep silent, so as to cultivate and enhance their focus. The maximum of the Mosaic Aztecs order: do as you wish, but do no harm, began with them. Do as you wish, but do no harm, began with them. Interesting. Mystery Priors have a comprehensive but rudimentary understanding of the grasp of magic, witchcraft, and astrology. Do you have other mystical knowledges? They are known as a fair number of magical rituals, and they can easily sense certain existences that hide among the matter. Therefore, they have to be careful and show respect to their powers as a beyonder. That's interesting. You could say they just have heightened mystical senses. More potent when it comes to witchcraft from the old period. Fuck it, I'll type it up as that. Where's Kirbs? Probably asleep. It's 6, and he's probably taking another 15-hour nap, knowing him. We lack the large portion of the sequence, causing it to be an incomplete chain. For example, it's sequence 8 of course. Perhaps the Holy Citadel perhaps the Holy Cathedral has it. This pretty much meets all of my requirements. Klein nodded. Slightly, to the point of having the urge to choose. Thankfully, he still remembered certain things. What about the other two? The second type is named Corpse Collector. Quite a name of cultists who worship the death of the southern continent choose it. After consuming the potion, the unintelligent dead spirits would mistaken them as one of their kind and would not attack them. They have gained resistance to the cold, decay, and corrosiveness, and cadaveric auras? What the fuck does this mean? What the hell does cadaveric mean? Cadaveric refers to anything related to or deprived from a corpse. It's widely used in medical terminology to describe educational and clinical practices involving human remains, such as cardiac dissection for the anatomical study, cardiac organ donation, and surgical. Oh. Righty-ho. Fellow unintelligent undead. They'll be able to directly see the portion of evil spirits and see the characteristics and weaknesses of undead creatures, as well as gain certain active attributed enchantments. We have the sequence 8 and sequence 7 that follows it. You can probably guess sequence 7. Spirit medium. It is chosen by Dela back then. Okay. Did I write that one down? I don't think I did. I don't remember doing it. No, I wrote it in the wrong one. I wrote it in the wrong one. I wrote it with mystery prior. What the fuck was it called? Spirit medium. Spirit medium. I mean, that just makes sense now, don't it? Do as you wish, but do no harm. Yeah. It's a very... that is a very, very religious line to take. And I do respect it. And then the last one is Sia, I believe. Describe Dune in detail. Spirit mediums does appear mysterious and cool, but what I want the most is to grasp knowledge of the mysticism. Klein did not interject. All he did was listen quietly. Dune looked sideways at the Crimson Moon and said, "We have sequence 9 of the third type. Whether the Holy Cathedral has it or not, I'm not sure. It's called Sia." Sia? Klein's pupils constricted as he recalled the regret Emperor Roselle had left in his diary. Yeah, I thought so. He regretted not choosing, and he regretted not choosing apprentice Murmur. Oh, apprentice, Martyra, or Sia. Oh, those are different fucking names. How did I not click that? Well, to be fair, I was probably reading this at like 4 in the morning, but still, how did I not click that one? What the fuck? Bollocks, but I just... Oh, there's my pen. Apprentice, Martyra, and... Sequence 9. Apprentice. Oh my god, this book is... so many of these fucking pages are going to be entirely dedicated to how many fucking sequences there are. Fuck. Marder. Alright. Alright there, pretty boy. But why those three specifically? That is... Well, see, I can probably take a fucking good guess at the name. Ooh, chapter 29. Jobs and rentals are serious business. I included Koi too. That's closer to 300. Oh, Lord. Should I be concerned about why we're talking about Koi or... You know what I should do? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna quickly do this. Where's text? Text. No, add a new one. Family font. Oh, give a fuck about family font. Chap 29. Can I choose bold? Yep. There are 22 sequences, pathways, and 9 levels between them. Oh, fuck. And now I can't look at chat because I don't want to get spoiled anymore on that one. Appreciate it, though. Can I move that down there? Yep. Oh, yeah, very easy to see. There you go. Yep, 29. Jobs and rentals are serious business. Klein tried his best to remain his usual self as he asked with genuine interest. What abilities does Seers have? Your question is inaccurate. The question should be, what abilities does consuming the Seer potion give? Dune shook his head and chuckled. His grey pupils turned and face turned away from the moon and his features hid in the shadows. There are many kinds of things involved. Astronomy, cartography, spiritual pendulums, and scrying, of course. That does not mean that consuming the potion will immediately allow you to grasp them all. The potion only equips you with the qualifications and the ability to learn it. As they lack direct means of fighting enemies, you can probably imagine that setting up a magical ritual requires a lot of preparation. It is not suitable for combat. Therefore, in terms of knowledge and mysticism, a seer will be more learned and professional than a mystery prior. Sounds like it matches my requirements as well. However, the lack of means to directly deal with the enemies is quite the dilemma. Furthermore, the Church of the Evernight likely doesn't have the subsequent sequence. The Holy Cathedral likely refers to the headquarters and the cathedral in sincerity. The means available to his low sequence beyonders against the enemies might not be able to compare to firearms. Hey, random. Hey, I was totally there the whole time. So, what are we doing? We're reading World of the Mysteries. We're on chapter 29, as it says over there. We're trying to get to chapter 40, as it says up there. And we're vibing, and we're currently seeing how why Klein might pick the Seer class. As it's one of the 3 classes that Emperor Roselle clearly wanted, so that one's probably going to be it. At least the Seer path in specific is the one that Klein had pointed out, so. Well, that's what you get for climbing up there, Snowfall. That's what you get! We haven't hit the light goal, but Snowfall wants to say hi. Do you think Klein's gonna become a seer? What do you think of Dune? Yeah. What's up? What are you doing up there? There you go. Let them climb. Have you not watched the anime yet? Nope. What did the creature do this time? He's currently, like, scratching at the wall. Like, on top of my pillow. You're cold again. How about you stay fucking still inside there, right? He's so talkative, so many opinions, too little thoughts. Exactly like a baby. What the fuck was I gonna type out? Klein is definitely going to become a seer. If the old imp is going to be picky about which class he chooses, then I see what I'm picking up after the Oh, mistakes. There we go. I can type. Fuck me. The kitten is mad about the new social media age restriction law. Yeah, true that. Beware of Amon. No. How about I forget your comment? Because that's funnier. Anyway. Klein fell deep into his thoughts as he racked his brain. He kept going back and forth between the mystery priors and seers. He no longer considered corpse collector. Dunsmith smiled when he saw this. You don't have to rush into the decisions. Tell me your answer Monday morning. Regardless of your choice of sequence or giving up the opportunity, none of us from the Nighthawk would have had any thought on the matter. Calm down and ask your heart. With that said, he took off his hat and bowed slightly. He slowly walked past Klein and headed to the stairwell. Klein did not say a word and did not immediately reply. He silently bowed and watched as Dune left. Although he was constantly hoping to become a Beyonder previously, he was thrown into a dilemma where the opportunities arose, the subsequence and missing sequences. Beyonders having the risk of losing control, the believability of Emperor Rosel's diaries, and the illusionary murmurs that would corrupt people into madness, all mixed together that formed a mountain that obstructed his advancement. He took a deep breath and slowly breathed out. No matter how bad it is, it can't be worse than making an 18-year-old high school student decide on his future career. Amen. Fucking brother. God, he's Klein's real for that one. God, he wants to be like. There we go. Klein gave a self-deprecating chuckle. Gathering his scattered thoughts, he opened the door softly and lay back onto the bed. He lay there with his eyes open, silently looking at the bottom of the bunk that was dyed with a faint crimson of the moon. The drunken staggered outside the window as the carrier sped down the empty streets. These noises did not break the sincerity of the night, but instead made it more darker and more distant. Klein's emotions settled down as he recalled on the past Earth. He recalled on how he liked exercising. His father who spoke loudly, his mother who enjoyed busying herself despite having a chronic disease, his friends who grew up with him, going from playing sports like soccer and basketball to games like Mojang, as well as the person he had failed to confess to. They were likely a silent river. It did not have many ripples or deep sentimental feelings, but silently drowned his heart. Perhaps one thing he will learn to cherish. Perhaps one will learn to cherish these things after they had lost them. Then the crimson receded and the sky turned golden yellow from the flaming balls illuminated. Klein had made his choice. Okay, it seems like my comment from last stream is correct then about him. It seems like Klein's sentimentalness is getting to him a little bit. Klein's sentimental. Etude is finally showing. Only took 29 chapters. Getting out of bed and head to the public bathroom to wash his face to wake himself up. Then he took a one soil note to Mrs. Wendy's to buy 8 pounds of rye bread with 9 pence, replenishing the stable food that had been consumed the previous night. The price of bread has begun stabilizing. He commented after buying breakfast as Benson changed. It was Sunday, so both him and Melissa finally had the chance to rest. Klein, who was already in proper attire, was sitting in the chair and flipping through the outdated newspaper he had bought from yesterday. He said in surprise, "There's a house rent from here. North Borant, 3 Window Street, a detached house with 2 floors. There's 6 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Two big balconies upstairs, downstairs, and a dinner hall, a living room, a kitchen, 2 bathrooms and 2 guest rooms, as well as an underground cellar. In front of the house are 2 acres of private land, and there's a small green garden behind it. It can be rented for 1, 2 to 3 years with weekly rent of £1.6 soil. Those interests can head up to Champagne Street and look at Mr. Gustav. That's our goal for the future. Fucking hell, do you want a bigger house, brother? God damn. That's a fucking huge house. Just wait, because in Lord of the Mysteries, world, knowledge is power, and also knowledge is the reason of losing control of a Beyonder. No, too early will spoil your journey. Yep. I figured as much. It's why I've been, like, low-key, It's why I've low-key not tried to theorize anything just yet. Well, one, I have a lack of information to try and theorize anything with. Which is why I guess a lot of the Lord of the Mysteries fanbase is over on this side. But also why I've tried to not predict where the plot has been trying to go, other than, like, minor things like Klein's possible ability and where that ability might go if I learn a little bit more about the sequence. Benson wore his black half top hat as he smiled to say that. The rent for places in the newspapers is usually a little too expensive. The Tinkin City Housing Improvement Company is the option that did not pay in comparison for that cheaper. Why are we not searching in the Tinkin Housing Improvement Association for the working class? Melissa walked out from her room holding an old velvet hat. She had changed into a greyish-white long dress that had been mended several times. She was silent and introverted, but she could not mask her youthfulness. Benson laughed. "Where did you hear of the Tinkin Housing Improvement Association from the working class? Jenny? Miss Rochelle? Or is it from your good friend Selena?" Melissa looked to their side and whispered a reply. "Mrs. Rochelle. While washing up last night, I happened to meet her. She asked about Klein's interview, and I told her roughly what happened. Then she suggested finding a Tinkin Housing Improvement Association for the working class." Benson noticed Klein's puzzled expression as he shook his head in amusement. "They are targeted at the poor. Well, the precise description is that they are a housing association for the lower strata of society. They build and renovate houses that basically have communal bathrooms. They only provide 3 choices: a single, a double, or a triple bedroom. Do you wish to continue in such an environment?" The Tinkin City... Who's saying all this? The Tinkin City Housing Improvement Company is the same business as them, but they also provide choices for the middle lower class. To be honest, we're a little better than the middle lower class, but we're still quite worse off than a true middle class family. It's not a matter of salary. It's just that we don't have time to save up. Klein came to realize as he put away the newspaper. picking up his top as he stood up. Then let's set off. I remember that the Tingen City Housing Improvement Company is on Daffodil Street. Daffodil Street, Benson said as he opened the door. They are like the Tingen Housing Improvement Association for the working class, known as the 5% charity. Do you know why? I don't know. Klein raised his cane and walked to Melissa's side. The girl with black hair that reached down her back nodded. Benson headed out and said, "These kinds of housing improvement associations or companies were established as a result of the backlog. They were founded in 3 ways. 1, by requesting donations from charitable foundations. 2, through funding proposals. They receive grants from the government commissions at a special rate of 4%. 3rd, through investments. By taking a portion of the rent received, they will give their investors 5% returns. That is why they call themselves the 5% charity." The siblings went down the stairs and slowly walked towards Daffodil Street. They confirmed a place before taking the present landlord, Mr. Franklin. They did not want to be in a situation where they were forced to move when they had no place to stay. Okay. I mean, it's a good idea, right? It's basically just council housing, but charity. Which, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I heard from Selena that the housing improvement companies that are purely ran on as charities. Melissa asked and thought. Benson chuckled. They are, such as the Dwayville Trust is Sir Dwayville donated money to establish. His building apartments targeted for the working class. He also provides dedicated estate management personnel while charging rather low rates. However, the criteria for applying is very strict. It sounds like you aren't fond of the idea, Klein acutely sensed as he asked with a smile. No, I respect Mr. Dayenvale. I respect Mr. Dayenvale a lot, but I'm certain he does not know what true poverty is. Staying in an apartment like this, a priest giving hope, is not pragmatic. For instance, tenants have to receive the main vaccines, and they have to take turns cleaning the bathroom. They are unable to subsidize their apartments for use of the commercial activities. They aren't allowed to throw the rubbish wantables, and the children are prevented from playing in the corridors. Goodness, does he wish to make everyone's, ladies and gentlemen? Benson answered in his usual tone. Klein ceased his bows and doubt. Doesn't sound problematic. Those all sound very reasonable criteria. Yeah, Melissa nodded in agreement. Benson cocked his head and looked at them before chuckling. Perhaps I have to protect the both of you as well as from not having to see actual poverty. Do you think they have the money for main vaccines? The line for free charitable organizations set them back 3 months. Yikes. Oh, how'd I do that? Whoop, whoop. There we go. Do you think their work is stable, not temporary? They cannot sublet part of the apartment to receive some extra income. They have to move out when they lose their jobs. Besides, many ladies mend cloths or make matchboxes at home to maintain their livelihood. Those are included as commercial activities. Are you going to chase them all out? He's kind of got a point. Benson's kind of got a point here, not gonna lie. Ripping into the housing establishment of the fucking city's crazy. But hey, politics be crazy like that. Most of the poor use all their efforts to survive. Do you think they have time to discipline their children or stop them from running along the corridors? Perhaps they can only be locked up at home until they're old enough, and then sending them to places that accept child labor when they're around 7 or 8 years old. Ben did not use many adjectives to describe the matter. It caused Klein to shudder a little bit. This is how people from low socio-economical classes live? Klein, you live in Korea! Or China even. Wherever the fuck you're from. You should know this. The fact you don't... Insanity. Insanity, I tell you. Besides him, Melissa fell into silence. It took a long while before she said in an ethereal tone, "Jerry no longer wished for me to visit her after she moved to the lower street. Let's hope her father gets back on his feet after that injury and finds a stable job. However, I've not seen too many alcoholics use alcohol to numb themselves." Benson laughed in a somber tone. Klein was at a loss for words. Melissa seemed to be the same. Such as the siblings silently walked down Daffodil Street and found Tingen City Housing Improving Company. The person who served them was a middle-aged man with an admirable smile. He did not wear the formal attire or a hat, but instead wore a white shirt and black vest. You can call me Skaza. I might know what kind of house you have in mind." When he caught a glance at Klein's silver inlaid cane, his smile widened. Klein looked at Benson, who was better with words, and gestured to him to answer. Benson directly answered. "A Terrence house." A Terrence house. The skater flipped through the files and the documents with his hand before smiling. "No, just in China, the laborers mainly exploited the working class, not children." Still can get there. Also, if you're going to be living in modern society, I feel like if you're old enough to go through any sort of high school, you should have a rudimentary understanding of politics to the point where you should know how certain societies, like the one Benson was just explaining, should, work, right? Or at least know the history of it, for fuck's sake. There are currently 5 that haven't been rented out. To be honest, they're geared to more. They're geared more to serving customers, laborers, and their children who have housing difficulties, where 6, 8, or even 10 to 12 people can squeeze into the house. There aren't many Terrence houses. There are 2 at Dolly Street and 1 up the Northern Broad. Fuck. And 1 in the East Broad. This weekly rent goes to about 12 to 16 coil. You can take a look at the detailed introductions here. 12 to 16 soil for £1? That's a little over 1 to a little less than a quarter of a pound. I feel like I should not be looking at your comment. I'm gonna stop looking at your comment now. I also just realized, not been censored this entire time. Very mad. He handed over the document to Benson, Klein, and Melissa. After reading through it, the siblings exchanged looks and pointed at the same spot on the paper simultaneously. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at 2 Doyley Street first, said Benson, Klein, and Melissa, nodded in response. This place was a district they were familiar with. Brand new beginnings. Chapter 30. Dink. Brand new beginnings. 2, 4, and 6 Boyle Street were Terrence buildings with multifaceted, hipped roofs. Their exteriors were painted grayish blue, and the 3 chimneys stood erect. The place obviously did not have lawns, gardens, or porches. The entrance directly faced the street. The Tingen Housing Improvement Company skater took out a bunch of keys, and while opening the door, introduced, "Our Terrence houses do not have foyers, so you enter directly into the living room. There is an Orel window facing the daffodil streets, so there's plenty of good lighting. Klein, Benson, and Melissa were greeted by a fabric sofa bathing in the golden rays of the sun, and the area was more spacious than the previous two-bedroom apartment. This living room can be used as a guest hall. To the right of it, it's the dinner room, and on the left is a fireplace that will keep you warm in the winter. Skater pointed around with a great familiarity. Klein looked around and confirmed that it was a crude, open-style concept. The dining room and living room were not separated by any partitions, and they were also far from the Orwell window, making the spots rather dim. There was a rectangular red wooden table surrounded by 6 hardwood chairs with soft cushions. The fireplace on the left wall looked exactly like the ones in foreign movies and TV series that Klein used to watch. Behind the dining area is the kitchen. We did not provide any appliances. Opposed to the living room is a small guest room and a bathroom. The skater looked around and described the remaining layout of the house. The bathroom was separated into 2 parts. The outer area was the one where you could wash their face and brush their teeth, while the inner area was the toilet, and there was a accordion door that separated them. Oh, yeah. The guest room was described to be small, but it is as big as the room that Melissa was currently staying in. She was stunned at the sight. After looking around the first floor, the skater brought the 3 siblings to the stairway to the next bathroom. Down below, in the underground cellar, it is quite stuffy downstairs, so you must remember to let some fresh air in there before entering. Benson nodded casually and followed the skater to the 2nd floor. Oh my, and then there's a bathroom. On the same side, there's the additional 2 bedrooms. It's the same layout to my right, but the washing room is on the side, is next to the balcony. As he spoke, the skater opened the door and stood sideways so he would not obstruct Klein, Benson, and Melissa's from looking at it. The bathroom had an actual bathtub. Like the other bathroom, there was an accordion door next to the toilet, although it was a little dusty. It wasn't dirty, smelled, or cramped. Melissa looked in a daze until Skater walked to the bedroom next to it. Only then did she stop looking and followed the rest slowly. She took another few steps before looking back. Alright. Staying as seems to be fairly cozy, if not a little dirty. Klein, who was experienced in life, was delighted and excited as well, even though the landlord often surprised her cleaning up of the bathroom. It was not clean enough. It was often nauseating, let alone the fact that they could easily encounter a lime when they needed to relieve themselves. No. The other bathroom was similar. One of the 4 bedrooms was slightly bigger. One of the 4 bedrooms was slightly bigger and was furnished with a bookcase. The rest were about the same size as each other and had a bed, table, and wardrobe. The balcony is very tiny, so you won't be able to dry too many clothes in the sun at the time. The skater stood at the end of the corridor and pointed at the spot with the door unlocked. There is a complete underground drainage, gas piping, meter, and other facilities. It is very suitable for a gentleman and a lady like yourselves. It only requires 13 soil of rent and 5 pence for use to furniture weekly. In addition, there is a deposit that amounts to 4 weeks of rent. That's not bad. Like, realistically, that isn't terrible. Because what was that? It was between 13 and 16 soil. And they're getting it for 13. 13 and 5 pence. Excuse me. That's not bad. That's not bad. Especially if that's the weekly pay at the very least. Well, if that's the weekly pay, that's not great, but still. I mean, for a house this big. Whatever. Without... I just realized this music's so fucking loud. Without waiting for Benson to say a word, Klein looked around and asked curiously, roughly how much would it cost to buy the house? As a transmigrator of the foodaholic empire, the desire to buy a property still existed within him. Upon hearing the question, Benson and Melissa were shocked. They looked at Klein as though they were seeing a monster. The scalper replied and calmly said, "Buy? No, we do not sell property. We only provide rental properties." I'm just trying to have a general sense of the price, Klein explained awkwardly. Skater hesitated for a few seconds and saying, "Last month, the owner of 11 Doyle Street sold a limited property and landed... Come on, go back. And landed deed with a similar property sitting on top of the land. £300 and £300 for 15 years. It was cheaper than renting directly, but everyone can fork out such a large sum of money. If one could buy it over completely, the cost of price is £850. £850? Klein quickly made the mental calculations. My weekly pay is £3. Benson earns over £1 and 10 soil. Rent is 13 soil. If we all want to eat every day, we would pay nearly 2 full pounds a week. On top of that, there are expenses such as clothes, transportation, social expenditure, and so on and so forth. We only have less than 20 soil a week. 1 year adds up to £35. £850 would acquire more than 20 years. If we had bought the land for a limited period of time for £300, that would make it at least 8-9 years. That doesn't include getting married, living independently, raising children, traveling, and so on. In a world without individual housing loans, most people are likely to opt for rental. Yeah, no, that's... Fucking Christ. Alright. Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. Like, looking at the general scope of it and how the house is actually formulated, that's not the worst. Especially if it gets cleaned up and they get to keep the furniture and all that. But, like, yeah, if these are all siblings trying to live together, well, that doesn't sound necessarily great. Especially for how much that is and how much they fucking earn. Realizing this, he stepped back and stole a glance at Benson. He beckoned a talk to him to the scalper about the rent. As for Melissa's intentions, they were obvious from her bright eyes. It was obvious from her bright eyes. At that moment, Klein had a feeling like he was unleashing Benson. Benson tapped the plain cane and looked around before he said, "Can we take a look at the other houses?" The dining area lighting isn't good and the balcony is very small. Look, the only bedroom that has a fireplace and the furniture is too old. If we move here, we will have to at least charge for half of these. That's fucked up, man. For this period of time, absolutely. That's an atrocious idea. For any living normal person. Honestly, I'd say it's as bad as today's economy. Fucking, to be frank. Nope. Oh, you're very cold. You're very cold, actually. Fucking hell. Ooh. Let's do that. That's very terrible, especially in Lord of the Mysteries. Okay. At least I'm not crazy about it, then. He pointed out faults in a hurried tone, spending 10 minutes to persuade the scouter to lower the rent to 12 soil and the furniture usage free to 3 pence, while rounding up the deposit to £2 without further ado. The siblings returned to the scouter to the Tingen City Housing Improvement Company and signed 2 copies of the contract. They headed over to the notary office of Tingen City to notarize the contract. After paying the deposit, the first week's rents, Klein and Benson remaining money added up to £9, 2 soil, and 8 pence. Standing before the door of 2 Doyle Street, they each held a bunch of copper keys. They were momentarily unable to lock away, their emotions churning within them. Felt like a dream. After a while, Melissa lifted her head to look at the furniture. Moretti's residence. He spoke with a low yet unsteady tone. Benson let out a breath and smiled. Then don't wake up. I mean, fair. Don't get paid shit and can't afford shit. Fucking way. Today's property prices in Victoria times is wild. I'm not fucking wrong, though. I'm not fucking wrong. What you looking at, Tubby? What you looking at, Snowman? You tubby fuck. You fat ass. Wah, 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 wah. Oh, wah, 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 wah. Snowman's such a fat ass, I love him. Klein wasn't as emotional as they were. He nodded and said, "We need to change the locks on the main door and the balcony as soon as possible." There's no need to hurry. The reputation of the Tingen City Housing Improvement Company is very good. The rest of the money is for your own formal suit. However, before that, we need to pay Mr. Franklin a visit. Benson pointed in the direction of the apartment. The siblings made do with dye bread at home before heading to the Terrence apartment on Iron Cross Street. When they knocked on the landlord's door, Mr. Franklin declared imposingly while his short frame preached on the sofa. "You know my rules. No one's allowed to be behind on their rent." Benson leaned forward and smiled. "Mr. Franklin, we're here to give up on our lease." "That's straightforward. Would negotiating this way work?" Standing beside Benson, Klein was shocked when he heard him. On the way here, Benson had said that his bottom line was a compensation of 12 soil. "Give up your lease? No, we have a contract and there's still half a year left." Franklin glared at Benson as he flailed his arms. Benson looked at him seriously and waited for a moment before saying calmly, "Mr. Franklin, you should understand that you could..." Oh my god. "Mr. Franklin, you understand that you could have made much more money." "Make much more?" Franklin asked with interest, touching his skinny face. Benson sat up and explained with a smile. "The 2-bedroom unit was rented to the 3 of us for 5 soil and 6 pence. Fuck me, that is dirt cheap. Ugh. I mean, in comparison to what they were just offered then, fucking hell. And for 6, with 2 to 3 of them working to get it paid, I think that would be more than. I think they will be more than willing to pay more to stay there instead of staying at the low street where it's ridden with crime. I think 5 soil and 10 pence or 6 soil would be a reasonable price." Frankie's eyes brightened up and his throat moved as Benson continued to say, "Besides, you are certainly aware that the rental prices have been increasing in recent years. The longer we stay, the greater your loss incurs." "But I need to look for a new tenant." Mr. Franklin, who had inherited the apartment building, oblivious, obviously, liked the idea. "I believe you can find one very quickly, since you have the ability and resources to do so. Maybe 2 days. maybe 3 days. We will have paid for the losses you incurred during that time. How does the deposit of free soil that we've paid? That's very reasonable. Benson immediately decided for Frankie. Frankie nodded in satisfaction. Benson, you're such a... Benson, oh my god, Benson, you're such a conscious... I'm gonna lose my shit. Conscientious and honest young man. Alright, let's sign the termination for a contract. Klein was dumbfounded watching this happen. He completely understood how easy it was to convince Mr. Frankie. That was way too easy. With the problem of the previous contract resolved, the three siblings first helped Klein buy his formal wear, and then got busy moving house. They didn't have anything heavy or bulky, as bulkier items belonged to the landlord. Thus, Benson and Melissa rejected Klein's idea of hiring a carriage and instead carried the things themselves. They went back and forth between Dandelion Street and the Iron Cross Street. The hot sun outside the window in the west, and the golden rays shone through the all-rail window, scattering across the desk surface. Klein looked at the rack that had books and notebooks arranged neatly before putting an ink bottle and the foundation pen on the table which he had wiped earlier. Josh, take a breath.
How dare you tell me to breathe?
How dare you? It's finally over. He let out a breath in relief and heard his stomach growl. He loosened his roll-up sleeves as he walked towards the door. He had a bed that belonged to him. The bedsheets and the blankets were white, old, but clean. Klein twisted the doorknob and walked out of his bedroom. Just as he was preparing for something, he saw both doors on the opposite side open simultaneously as Benson and Melissa came into his view. Looking at the dust and dirty marks on his face, Klein and Benson suddenly burst out into laughter, sounding abnormally cheerful. Melissa bit her lips lightly, but the laughter was contagious. She eventually let out a soft laugh. The next morning, Klein stood before a full-length mirror with no cracks, seriously smoothing out his collar and sleeve of his shirt. The outfit included a white shirt, black tuxedo, silk top hat, a black vest, and a set of trousers, boots, and a bow tie. He felt the pinch of the 8 pounds in total.
Oh, yikes!
Benny. Benny. Suit. There we go. However, the effect was great. Klein felt that his reflection in the mirror exuberated a greater scholarly qualities that made him look more handsome. He closed his pocket watch and put it into the inner pocket. Then he took out his cane and hid his revolver. He took the tracked public carriage to arrive at Zoutland Street. The moment he entered into the Blackphone Security Company, he realized that he's so used to his previous lifestyle that he had forgotten to give Melissa extra money, but allowed her to walk to school instead. God damn. he got real used to being money now. Trying to type with one hand's difficult. Shaking his head, he took the note. Shaking his head, he took the note before stepping into the Blackphone Security Company. He saw the brown-haired girl, Roseanne, making coffee. The rich aroma permeated through the office. "Good morning, Klein. The weather's great today." Roseanne greeted him with a smile. To be frank, I've always been curious. In such weather, don't you men feel hot wearing those formal suits? I know for a fact that Tingen summers isn't as hot as the South, but it's still summer. It's the price of style, Klein replied humorously. Good morning, Miss Roseanne. Where's the captain? Same old place. Roseanne pointed inside. Klein nodded and went through the petition and knocked on Dune Smith's office door. "Come in." Dune's voice was smooth and gentle as usual. When he saw Klein, who looked quite different in a set of nice formal wear, he nodded, his grey eyes smiled. "Have you decided?" He asked. Klein took a deep breath and answered seriously. "Yes, I've made a decision." Dune slowly sat up straight. His expression became solemn, and the deep recesses of his grey eyes remained the same. "Tell me your answer," Klein replied without hesitation. "See ya." Ayy, told y'all. Fucking told yous. Not only got the fit on, but also confident in his on. Which means we're in chapter 31. Potion. Which we all got us all coming. But hopefully y'all don't mind me being a little annoying. Only a little. Only a tiny bit annoying. Because,
the little one needs food.
And for some reason, he's not feeding off his mom. So give me like 10 seconds. Anyway, for those not informed, one of my kittens is sick, right? Just in case you weren't here for the last stream. One of the kittens is incredibly sick, and is, for some reason, not feeding off her mother. Get ready, he's gonna go on the trip the fuck up. Lovely. Where's the other one? Yeah. Anyway. Which one? Blizzard, the really, really, really tiny kitten. So, I've got to feed him every couple of hours. Force feed him every couple of hours. He's never the most happy with me when I do it, but he won't eat otherwise. Come on, get up. Good boy. We're getting like a kitten, like a kitten nipple thing that you, like, what the fuck's it called? It's like a bottle feeder, but for kittens, right? And we're feeding them goat's milk. So for now, we just gotta keep doing this every couple of hours. And I don't know if y'all have ever tried to heat up goat's milk, or ever feel warm goat's milk.
It's fucking... Ugh. It's nasty.
But he's got to be fed. Even if he doesn't want to. Lizard, open up. Good boy. Aren't you a good boy? A little bit more. Yeah.
Good lad.
Aren't you? Come on, let's clean your face a little bit.
Aren't you a good boy?
But yeah, so far, for the past, 2 days, I've had him wrapped in my hoodie. To keep him warm. Because obviously, if he's not feeding, he's not keeping himself warm. He's also a kitten. Yeah. Have you just said, the names for all of them? Snowball, Snowfall, Snowman, and Blizzard. Because all the big ones are girls. Bear in mind Blizzard. Ooh, is the inky dinky one. Anyway. Chapter 31? 31. Yes, so all of them have got a names. All of Ovi's lot have been named after the Cohort and Shadow Slave. All of these lot have been named after different kinds of snow that I can think of. Anyway. Chapter 31. Potion. Dune stared at Klein with the grey eyes for a full minute without a word. Klein did not did not cower under the pressure of the sound. His gaze. He continued to lock eyes with Dune. You must understand that once you consume the potion, there'll be no room for regret. Finally, Dune spoke again in a deep, emotionless voice. Klein grinned and said, I know, but I have to respect the voice in me. First, Sleepless does not meet any of my requirements. It was the same for the Spectre, which he had heard about the Tarot Club based on the description. I completely forgot that was fucking going on. I completely forgot about the Tarot Club, I cannot lie. I say, you just missed me feeding a kitten. Making sure he's all good. I'll probably have to feed him again within the stream. About 9 o'clock. He was unsure when he came into contact with the other path beyond the pathways. A slow remedy would not work for an urgent situation. Therefore, there was no need for him to wait. By that same logic, Corpse Cluster was eliminated as well, leaving to two choices: Mystery Prior and Seer. Under the premise that potions of the same sequence were equally dangerous, and him being unable to obtain information, as well as the fact that both Mystery Prior and Seer meet his requirements, then regardless of whether Emperor Roselle was making a passing remark, or he really regretted not choosing the Apprentice, Martyrer, or Seer, it was enough to tip the balance in his heart. Furthermore, he could tell from the diary that as long as he figured out the true essence of digestion and acting, he would be able to avoid the negative effects the potions would bring to a significant extent. Also, the murmuring and the illusionary incitements that would... Fuck off! That would drive people to corruption and madness. That's not right. What? No, it is. To drive people to corruption and madness. He had already encountered that even without being a Beyonder. Alright. Dune stood up and picked his half-top hat as he put it on. He said, "Follow me down." Klein nodded, and he gave the gentleman a bow in gratitude. Going well, just 31 chapters in. Both of them had ventured down, the footsteps echoing through the sounds and vast stairwell and passageway. Klein suddenly felt gripped by anxiety as he tried to find the topic of conversation. Captain, you had mentioned that taking a potion would not directly give me the corresponding knowledge of mysticism, that I only have the qualifications to learn it. Then where does the basic knowledge of mysticism even come from? Did our predecessors risk their lives for it to obtain it via other means? Every time he went underground, he found the air especially fresh. Clearly, the ventilation was excellent. However, the occasional gust of wind made me shiver. Dune glanced at him, the darkness in his grey eyes appearing abnormally deep. He answered calmly. One of them, as you said, experimentation, summarization, and enchantment. Second, being bestowed by the gods. Third, the dangerous murmurs that others can't hear did not growl or roar senselessly. At times, they would describe some matters regarding mysticism, but according to what I know, the people who truly listen to the murmurs on a long-term basis have gone mad without exception. Or they will fall to corruption and become monsters. Of course, we must thank them. The notebooks left behind are precious treasures in the field of mysticism. So that's nice. Hearing the voices. Wow, how the fuck did I mess that up? There we go. Good, I had to do a shopping for groceries, but remember Joshua's streams are gonna start, so I drove a little faster. Fuck yeah, brother. Fuck the speed limit! It's limited for a reason! And that reason, ladies and gentlemen, is because of me! If a single person to ever look at that stream has any idea what kind of character I'm trying to mimic there, fucking hell, you deserve head. Did I read that last one? Yeah. Human lab rats? The underground passage called humanity made Klein shudder suddenly. Then my luck enchantment ritual, which turned into the social network magic, eventually led to similar effects due to the crazy and horrible murmurs. At the intersection, Dude did not proceed towards Chain Gate, nor did he turn to the weapons, materials, and archives. Instead, he took Klein to the left and approached St. Selena's Cathedral. Midway, he stopped. It was unclear what he had touched to open the secret door. This is our Nighthawk team work. This is the Nighthawk team alchemy room. I will get old Neil to receive the Thea potion formula and the corresponding materials from inside the Chinese gate. You have pretty good luck. The goddess has blessed you with her favor. We would still have the materials needed for 2 Thea potions. If not, you'd be waiting a long while. Doom pointed at the room behind the door. Wait here, waiter. Watch old Neil conduct the potion. It's one of the most basic parts of mysticism studies. Oh, do not randomly touch things in there. They are either very dangerous, expensive, or both. With that, Dune added, like before. Oh, right. I forgot something. You becoming a Beyonder is a result of you having to face danger and needing to find a notebook. The monotonous deed was only a part of it. Therefore, you will not be a member in our team for our time being. You'll still be an active civilian staff member with the corresponding salary. You will still do what I instruct you to do previously. One additional thing is to learn about the mysticism with old Neil. You can arrange the time with him. Alright. Other than being a little disgruntled by the lack of pay rise, Klein was full agreement with the rest. I wish I can get around in a car. Cars are fun. My cousin got one recently. It's a nice car. automatic, but fuck me, it gets on his nerves. Don't we all? Trying to double, he will. Lord of the Mysteries is a downward slop. The right side of the whiteboard is a little covered. Loki dumb rage baiting. Yeah. I don't know how to keep it up there, so I guess they would just have to do. You are rage baited if you engage with it. I mean, there's not many people typing. I don't fucking blame them. According to Dune, there was still the process of learning and grasping one's newfound powers after consuming the potion. If he were to become a formal member immediately and participate in the paranormal missions, his death was certain. Dune turned around and walked 2 steps forward, towards the intersection, and suddenly turned back. Another thing. I knew it. Klein was already used to this style of his captain. We got something out of the Secret Order's actions, said Dune with his usual expression. It's unlikely that they will provoke you in the near future, but don't be careless. It has to do with them being temporarily unable to confirm whether the Antinous family books is important to them. From what we discovered, we have preserved some of the ancient customs, and we can confirm that they were related in the Solomon Empire and corrupted nobles of that period. Got it. Thanks, Captain. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, I can't spell basically. There we go. Love that Klein doesn't get a pay rise for basically putting his life on the line for 24/7, basically a firefighter now, and that the book him and the other two are reading are indeed a part of the ancient Solomon Empire and the corruption that came along with it. Whew, okay. Glad I got that fucking typed out the way, god damn. Got it, thanks Captain, said Klein as he exhaled. This was also one of the reasons why he didn't wish to wait, grasping the chance of becoming a Beyonder in such a hurry. As he watched Dune leave and confirmed that he would not turn around and say more, Klein slowly walked into the alchemy room. The room had long tables. There were test tubes, pipettes, scales, and crucibles. It resembled a chemistry laboratory from his previous life, if more Spartan and ancient. Other than that, there was a huge cauldron and a dark wood ladle, a translucent crystal ball, and other items. The dark sacred emblem and the other strange albums were visible everywhere. They gave the room a tint of mystery. Klein looked around with interest, but he was not stupid enough to touch the things. After a while, he heard footsteps. O'Neill carrying a tiny silver chest with a complicated pattern. He was still wearing his unique classic black robe that seemed anachrostic, matched with the felt hat with a rounded edge of the same color.
Lad, I would have never expected you to choose Sia.
Joshua is willing to read the equivalent of 25 Shadow Slave chapters. I'm basically reading 30 a week anyway. And it's not like I'm engaging in fairycraft in this one. I don't have enough knowledge of the series so far to be engaging in it, especially with chat right now. Which I do kind of regret, but I legitimately don't think I would have carried on the series if I didn't, you know, try and carry on reading it. So, that's on me, if anything else. Oh, random, you fucking sexy man. I needed those. That and this. Wanna know something funny? In my review, I think I spoke about Sunny's Brilliant Emporium like twice. Which is fucking hilarious. And one of the reasons I low-key want to re-record it, but fuck me, y'all have waited long enough. O'Neill put down the chest and used his somewhat turbid red eyes to size up Klein. Your personality is just like mine when I was young. You just don't want to follow the masses. Not bad. Light a few gas lamps and close the door. Alright. Klein tried hard to not tremble as he lit each gas lamp in the alchemy room. He made dim light rule over the place once again. Oh, I know. At least you know, random. At least you know. Wait. The secret door closed. He turned back to see the white-haired and the deep-wrinkled O'Neill using a bunch of strange Thai tree branches to scrub the black cauldron. The concoction of sequence potions is extremely simple, at least for sequence 7 and below. There's no need for a special flame or any additional ritual, much less an incantation. There's no need for one to participate in it spiritually. All one needs to do is to go according to the formula steps, add the precise amount, and mix it. That will be all. O'Neill's wrinkles seemed to blossom with a smile. For real? Quine questioned in surprise. That sounds as simple as my look and charming ritual. Man, it's quite frightening when you come to think of it. It is frightening. It's incredibly scary. What do you think? What do you think of Klein choosing the Sierra as a sequence? It makes the most amount of sense out of all of them, and I've said that before. It's nice that it isn't immediately combative in nature. Yes, I agree. I like that one of the first things that Klein tries to actively keep in mind when it comes to making his choice is his inactivity of wanting to fight. Which is fascinating, more so wanting to rely on his gun. Also understanding that the Nighthawks are usually nearby anyway. Or at very least, all the churches nearby him, which he has easy access to, all lead to the Nighthawks and the security place, and where all of it's all fucking interconnected, and where he's hired by them. So he's gonna be safe regardless, so picking something as spiritually demanding as a seer, or the Mystery Prior, makes the most amount of sense. But trying to deal in something like the mysticism, you know, when the man is trying to play a god, makes more sense than Mystery Prior. So if anything, I respect them more than anything else. What would you have chosen? I feel like I would have to... I want to answer that when I learn more about the sequences, right? Because I know Corpse Collector leads into Spirit Medium. I know Nighthawks has shit to do with dream manipulation and dream conjuring and shit. Then there's... Where's the other one? There's a couple more that I just don't know what the abilities are. Let's see. If we go back... there's Midnight Poet, which... Oh. There's the Church of the Evernight, which has Sleepless, Midnight Poet, and Nightmare. Midnight Poet is Leonard's one, and Nightmare is what Dunn is. And I don't know what either one of those do yet. There's Mystery Prior, which is very similar to, obviously incredibly similar to, Sia. But I guess is more actively participating within the witchcraft, rather than the mysticism side of things. There's Corpse Collector, which is obviously a bit more dealing with, like, active dead. Then there's the other two, which we haven't really got a name yet. Sia, again, more mysticism shit. But then there's Apprentice and Martyra, which are also one of the two other sequences that Roselle was looking at. Why would the Emperor be looking at those? There must be some sort of benefit. But I guess as a night person, I would probably pick the Evernight Goddess or the Sleeper sequence. I don't know. I guess that would be more my alley if anything else. But I want to see what the abilities can actually lead to before I bother trying making that discussion.
Perhaps it's a gift from the gods. Praise the lady.
O'Neill drew a haphazard circle over his chest. Following that, he opened the silver chest and poured out the goatskin perchance and exuded antiquity. The yellow-brownish goatskin unfurled inch by inch, revealing words on it. Klein looked at it from a distance and realized it was Hermes, a language he was very familiar with. It was written in a ink that resembled blood, seemingly having its fluidity remained intact. Other than that, it did not seem extraordinary in any way. Huh. Sia, 100 milliliters of pure water, 13 drops of night vanilla liquid, 7 gold mint leaves. Klein silently recited the formula's contents, but the rest of it was blocked by O'Neill's wrist, preventing him from reading it.
Pure water is water.
Oh my god.
Pure water is that repeatedly distilled. Thankfully, I've made some previously, so we do not need to waste time on it.
While O'Neill gave the instruction, he gave a large sealed glass bottle on the table with great familiarity. He took off the stopper and poured about 100 milliliters of pure water into the cauldron without much thought. Klein did not dare ask, afraid that he would affect O'Neill's concoction. After all, he was the one drinking the potion. Yeah, Sleepless is so you, Joshua. I mean, out of all these. Oh, fuck. There we go. No clue. I haven't read the book yet. Valid. Which is ironic because the Nighthawks are the front runner of mysticism and combat. Alright. I was hoping that you would mix and match potions at each sequence. Basically, plot your own pathway. I wouldn't be surprised if that is a possibility. For as long as the sequences have a corresponding, like, thing, at least halfway up the sequence. Right? Like, I'm hoping. I really am hoping that the mixing and matching thing is an actual probability rather than something that's just going to be fucking dilly-dallied all about. 13 drops of night vanilla juice. This could be extracted from stores as an external oil ahead of time. Old Neil took out a tiny brown bottle from the silver chest with a pipette and dropped 13 drops into the cauldron in a relaxed manner. A faint but easing fragrance emitted, making Klein feel abnormal sense of peace.
Seven gold mint leaves.
O'Neill picked up picked up the silver patterned can and removed its lid. With his bare hands, he picked up a few leaves and scattered them into the cauldron. He caught a whiff of the fresh and stimulating scent. 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. O'Neill chuckled and looked at the potion formula on the goatskin. 3 drops of poison hemlock. This isn't something you should drink randomly. It can cause your entire body to go numb to the point of death. In the ancient times, it was provided to the It was proved to be the best option for committing suicide. Yikes. It's not like I'm silly, lambooed. O'Neill changed pippets and dropped the poison hemlock into the cauldron. The mixture caused a strange smell that freshened one's mind. That's really funny. Oh, that's a really funny sentence. That's clever. Oh no, what's the author's name? Cuttlefish. I mean, maybe, but the sequences probably have to have something in common. Yeah, that's what I said. 6, 7, fuck off. I also realized I've not had chat on live this entire time. What's on your eye, Gil? There you go. Eight grams of dragon blood grass powder. O'Neill took his time to reach his hand into the silver chest and pulled out a transplant test tube. There was some dark black powder inside. He used a beaker and a scale to measure 9 grams of powder and poured it into the cauldron. Then he stirred the mixture twice with the blackwood ladle. The laid-back process of making the concoction made Klein a little worried. I would be worried from the simple name of dragon blood grass powder. What the fuck? I remembered back in the day I was only 69. It was. In fact, the materials just from before were just supplemental. The exact amount doesn't really affect the final outcome. I should put a little bit more. O'Neill made a joke. The last 2 is what's crucial. The amount can be slightly lowered, but it cannot be too far from the requirement or your enchantment will fail. Oh, the quantity cannot be any more. Even just by a little bit. If so, you have to be treated for mental problems. It's not impossible to die immediately. Thanks, Neil. Love that. Uncover Nostalgia episode. 7, 8, 9. 7, 8 out 9. Klein immediately tensed up as he saw O'Neill pull back the glass bottle from the silver chest. Salvos liquid blood. 10 milliliters. This is a kind of squid that is considered an extraordinary biological species. It is clearly mutated. It is covered in mystery. Its blood will rapidly break down under sunlight and loses its unique qualities. It has to be stored in an opaque material. Crazy. O'Neill's tone no longer sounded relaxed. He quickly and carefully retrieved 10 milliliters of blood from the test tube. The blood was blue like the sky. From time to time, it produced an illusionary bubble as though it was connected to the spiritual world.
After pouring the blood inside the test tube, the remaining drops are ignored as the formula of the formula's precaution, whispered O'Neill. The moment the blue blood entered the cauldron and made contact with the liquid from before, it produced bubble sounds. The surrounding light was dyed with a light blue tinge, making Klein feel a strange sense of distance, but it was also familiarity. Why are you telling me to stop? Why am I being told to stop? I would never consume that. Oh, you wouldn't catch me dead. You wouldn't catch me dead trying to consume any of this shit. Oh, never mind. I know what you're trying to tell me to stop. Never mind. I remembered my comment from before. Don't tell me what to do. You don't like a little bit of squid? I fucking hate squid. Don't get me wrong. I like seafood. I fucking hate squid. Squid and seaweed, fucking dog shit. Hate them. It felt like the feeling of being in a mother's womb. It elevated the human soul. The final item. Crystal star crystal. 50 grams. O'Neill's voice sounded in Klein's ear, jolting him awake as though he looked at the table. The old gentleman's hand was a piece of extreme pure crystal. Furthermore, the crystal appeared gelatinous, as though it was jelly from the earth. Gelatinous, as though it was made from jelly of the earth. It lacked hardness. Under the blue light illumination, it reflected bits of the light as though it seemed to contain a pleasant void of stars within it. This is an excellent material for the creation of divination crystals. Just a little less in consideration of any mistakes. As O'Neill measured, he used a tiny patted silver blade to extract the crystal. Pure water, night vanilla, gold mint leaves, poisonous hemlock juice, dragon blood grass, lavos squid blood, and a star crystal made up a seer. At that moment, Klein couldn't help but to recall the formula. With everything done, O'Neill poured it in a few blocks of the star crystal into the cauldron. An illusionary fog instantly spewed forth, turning the alchemy room into a blur. I wonder what it smells like. It probably smells amazing if we have to be really honest with ourselves. Wanna go outside? Yeah, alright. Alright. I want to take my shirt off so fucking bad. It is so warm in here, dude. Cooked? Yes. Fried. Carbonara is one. Grilled. I had a chance to try sushi once, but I couldn't bring myself to try it. I am a picky eater. I only tried sushi because in uni I realized my taste palette was evolving slowly. It still tasted like shit. I love fish, hated sushi. Carbonara is one with fried rice and fish. I don't like the raw taste of fish. I think that just might be it. I think I just don't like raw fish. Fried rice and fish though. I'm a slut. I'm a slut for fried rice. It's bad, actually. Klein seemed to see the vast array of stars amidst the fog and felt like he was being observed by an invisible existence. A few seconds later, the fog dissipated. O'Neill used the dark wood ladle and scooped some sticky dark blue liquid. It had strange characteristics, gooey and inseparable, but not one bit of it was left in the black cauldron. The dark blue liquid was poured into an opal cup before O'Neill pointed at it. "It's done! Your seer potion." I would not drink that. That is yucky. Yuck. Klein hasn't noted the smell. Not that I paid attention though. Bro is getting served lean. Hell fucking yeah! Irish. We literally just got to chapter 32, which is Spirit Vision. This is probably gonna be one trippy fucking mess. I will say though, something that that I pointed out before, or something that was pointed out before that I found to be really, really funny, was that when the potion was being mixed, it gave this aroma that cleared out Klein's head. And I'm like, a potion for spirit mediums to clear their head so they can absorb new information about the world they're about to see is very, very funny. Yeah, no, I'm not listening to that all night. You can fuck off. Ironically, this was made so it doesn't killed. That checks out. I can imagine all sequence potions tasting like vile devil fruits. Yo, that's a shout. All sequence potions tasting like liquid devil fruit. It's all just like... correction. This is so that the potion doesn't kill the person who consumes it. Lovely. Lovely! Anyway, chapter 32. Spirit Vision. Klein looked at the dark blue gelatinous liquid, finding it hard to describe it as either a block or a cup of liquid. He swallowed his saliva and said in a great difficulty, "Am I to just drink it like that? There's no need for other preparations, like the ritual, an incarnation, or a prayer." Oh. Is there no need for any other preparations, like a ritual, incarnation, or a prayer, incantation? O'Neill acknowledged teasily before saying, "Preparation? Preparation? There is. Get a cup of Intidus, armor a grape wine, and sucking on a desi cigar." I don't know why I said cigar like that. That's fucking funny. Between the three options, which one would you choose? We had this conversation before. I said I'd choose the Sleepless. Out of the ones I know of right now and how their abilities kind of work. Then whistle as a relaxing tune and dance to upbeat court dance. You can tap dance if you prefer. Finally, you can play around the Gwent cards. What a weird fucking reference. What a weird reference. Okay. Cuddlefish. Fish is a Witcher fan? Witcher fan? Good to know. Oh, that explains so much. Oh, that explains so much about the potions, for fuck's sake. Oh my days, how did I not notice this before? Like when reading out what the fucking formulas needed to be, that makes so much sense. That's so funny. When he saw Klein's expression turn dumbfounded, O'Neill laughed and summarized it when he said, "If you feel nervous." You are quite humorous, aren't you? The corners of Klein's mouth twitched as he reserved the urge to draw his gun. Gwent cards? Yeah. That's so fucking funny. He put his cane down and extended his right hand, as though he had held something heavy. He raised the opaque cup. The smell of the potion was faint and seemingly ethereal. "Lad, do not hesitate. The more you hesitate, the more nervous and afraid you will be. And that will only affect the absorption that follows," said Neil, with his back facing Klein. It was as though he had said it casually. It is unknown when he arrived by the nearby water basin. He turned the tap and washed his hands. Klein nodded slightly and took a deep breath. Just like when he was a child, he pinched his nose and drank the medicine. He moved the opaque cup to his mouth and tipped his head, drinking it down in a gulp. The cool and soothing feeling quickly filled his oral cavity. It was followed through his gullet into his stomach. The sticky dark blue liquid seemed to grow out and thin long tendrils. Drinking stimulations and coldness with every cell of Klein's body. He could not help but convulse as his vision rapidly went into a blur. All colors seemed to saturate. The reds were redder, the blues were bluer, the blacks were blacker, the rich colors blended into an impressionist painting. Klein had seen such a sense before. It was back when he had questioned about a spirit medium, Dali. At that point, his vision became blurry, although his mind felt light and it was clear. It felt like a castaway floating at sea. Slowly, his surroundings turned describable. All the colors returned to the original as the grayish fog emanated. Around him were forms he found difficult to describe. There were transparent objects that he did not seem to exist. Deep down, there were lustrous brilliances of different colors that seemed to possess life or contain immense knowledge. This is a little similar to what I saw during the look enchantment ritual. As Klein instinctively looked down, he realized that he was still standing in his original spot. Body convulsing. Suddenly, he came to the realization, causing his consciousness to slick abruptly and fuse with him. They probably tested the potions on someone like Geralt and then found the safe recipe. Or, Varian. He's like 200 years old. That'd probably make the most amount of sense, frankly. I would not put it past the cunts over at The Witcher. At the Witcher schools, at the very least. They're all fucking psychopaths. Every fucking one of them. Ronald McDonald. That song has been in my head for fucking days. Grab me up the wall. Oh, it's Max's birthday. Well, that explains why he's been a bit pissy. Boom! The fog quickly dissipated as the colors returned to normal. The bright, clear halo and the inexistent objects instantly vanished. The scene in the alchemy room returned to normal, but Klein felt his head swell. It felt like he was being yanked apart. Whenever he saw, had countless afterimages. His ears were overwhelmed by the ethereal murmurs. Oh. Hornicus. Phlegry. Hornicus. Phlegry. Hornicus. Phlegry. Klein felt like a stabbing pain in his forehead as he quickly had his thoughts of causing destruction to vent the discomfort in him. He frowned and hurriedly shook his head. Is your visions abnormal? Is your visions abnormal? Are you hearing things you usually didn't? Said O'Neill as the side of at his side with a concealed smile. Yes, Mr. Neal. What should I do? Klein tolerated the intense mania and asked. O'Neill chuckled. This is the resulting C page of the potion energy. You lack the means to control it. Alright. Do as I say. Think of an object in your mind. Something common. Make it easy and simple. Klein quickly focused as he envisioned his own half top hat woven from the black silk. He recalled the feeling when he had touched it and its exact shape. Place all your focus on it. Keep repeating that and creating the outlines. Do you feel a little better? O'Neill's voice penetrated into his mind like a serene song. Klein turned his focus bit by bit onto the image of the top hat. He felt the murmurs subside into whispers before they vanished. The after image he saw almost stuck upon another. The after images he saw almost stacked upon one another and no longer appeared a blur. Much better, Klein said after calming his head in chaotic emotions and having exhaled. Neil the trip settler? Bro, where was Neil when I was taking mushrooms for the first time? Where was Neil when I first took DMT? This all would have been great rather than trying to do it in a park with some randomer. That's a true story. I saw some wacky ass shit. Don't take DMT. He looked down at his body and discovered that nothing abnormal had happened. He moved his limbs with the half anticipation and half doubt, asking, I succeeded? Am I now considered a seer? O'Neill pulled out a mirror-like mercury plate and shoved it in front of him. Look at your eyes. Klein focused his gaze and he saw what he was wearing the top out. His outline stood out and his facial features looked normal. Apart from having his face skewed and covered in sweat, he did not seem different in any way. If mushroom, there's so... what's the worst drug experience if you don't mind me telling? If you don't mind telling... Ooh, worst drug experience? Oh, God. Oh, Lord. There's two instances I can think of the top of my head, and only one of them I was spiked with. The other one I took willingly. Don't do drugs. Yeah, obviously, do not do drugs. Drugs are bad. Drugs are terrible. Waste of my fucking time. If anything, it held me back. I would say probably it was... I can't remember the specific... There's a name for it. Right, there's a name, and it's shit. It's a drink. It's Coke, it's shrooms, and it's something else. It might be acid. And it was... the headache that it gave me afterwards was some of the fucking worst I've ever had. It lasted like 5 days. It was dreadful. I don't even know where I was, where I went, who I was talking to. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. And then the second one, I was spiked. That one was acid. My weed got taken with acid. When I tell you, I was so close to offing myself. Unreal. Unfucking real experience. Every anxiety that I have ever had in my life, and that's a lot of it, when that happened, spiked through the fucking roof and shot up like a rocket. Worst I've ever had it. That is the only time where I've taken well, no, there was one other time, but I had to... That one was forced on me. That one was forced on me. I actually had to go to the hospital for a couple of days. But the weed and acid one, I legitimately went to the doctors the next day to be like, look, I did some weed. It got laced. I have been sweating since taking it. Do I need to take shit to calm down? And they were like, no, just drink a shit ton of water and calm the fuck down. I was like, great. They're like, don't go to college. And I was like, I'm not in college. I'm just gonna stay in my room for like 3 days. It was awful. Don't smoke at school, be better. Oh, fucking hell, don't smoke at school. Who spiked you? To this day, I still don't know.
I have my guess, but if it is that guy, if it is Liam, then I've already done Liam dirty in more ways than one. I feel like him spiking me, if anything, was a bit tame in what he could have done. Another plus for being too scared to try. Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, brother. I've got so many fucking horror stories of me taking shit. And me getting the possible, like, some of the worst outcomes ever, and some of the best. Taking DMT in a park with, like, my friend and a lad far too old for me to be talking to, was still probably one of the most trippy and fun experiences I've ever done in my life. I would shoot that version of me dead today, don't get me wrong, because that was a fucking incredibly idiotic decision. And, possibly the reason I'm scared of snakes nowadays? Possibly. You see some weird shit on DMT. There's a reason why people become very fucking religious, or at the very least hyper-spiritual when you take it. But yeah. A sick fuck likely spiked you for sure. It was probably Liam. I've been spiked fucking God knows how many times at this point. But that was the first time I'd ever been spiked via drugs. Anyway. He followed O'Neill's instructions and carefully looked at his eyes. Only then did he discover that his brown eyes had deepened quite significantly. It was so much deeper. It was so much deepened that it was like a night one was complete darkness. It felt as though he could absorb the souls from others. Anything worse than drugs? Almost dying isn't fun. Yeah, almost dying's really, really not fun. But is it as bad as my worst drug experiences? No. No. Yeah, no. I think all my worst experiences I've ever had that weren't, like, me being completely, in the wrong, frankly. Or I guess in some cases it's just in the right, just riddled with anxiety. Were because of drugs. And this is the closest I'll ever go back to taking drugs. It's either hyper-spiritual or hyper-paranoid in worst cases. Oh, I only know one person who was ever, like, really, really fucking paranoid because of it. Everyone else I know who has ever taken it has become spiritual and or religious. Normally, dark brown eyes were easy to recognize as black, without looking very carefully. Even Klein himself would have not noticed. This is a physical manifestation of the potion's powers. When you learn cognition and convert your powers, your eyes will return to normal. O'Neill smiled as he reached out with his right hand. Congratulations, our new Beyonder, our seer. Thank you. Klein reached out his hand and shook it. Mr. Neal, when can I learn to cognitate? Is this the first or the second book? This is the first book. Yeah, you either live or you die, but drugs... Yeah, you either live or die, but drugs last some time, so I guess they'd be worse. Yeah. What was I just gonna type? Oh. I wonder what kind of abilities he's gonna gain. Very intrigued. You can learn it now. The initial steps of cognition are relatively simple. Even more so for Beyonders, said O'Neill with a smile. Just now, producing an object in your mind to divert the attention and turning the energy, see page inwards, is actually the first step to cognition. Try doing it again. Klein closed his eyes and once again his mind depicted a halved top hat. His concentration seemed to be more easily focused than before.
Soon, random thoughts that surface would quickly vanish, leaving the hat outline. Let your brain go somewhat blank. Exchange the object you imagined. Use something that does not exist in this world, and an object you imagine completely out of thin air. You have to follow this rule. Only by doing so you can enter cognition. Only then you can exceed the concept of the limitless. I'll become one with the universe, giving you the ability to see and understand the truth. You obtain knowledge only you yourself can understand. In the domain of mysticism studies, it's called mystic experience, said O'Neill, using a pacifying tone. You need to listen to the description that I'll give you later. That's what's most important to enter cognition. Fascinating. Fascinating. I don't like what that implicates for that, though. Why are you reading AO3? I am here. Okay. Random. Bye, random. I'm not reading AO3. I'm very clearly reading Lord of the Mysteries, as the title and description would suggest. But that is a... I guess that's an idea in how the pathway would go. If our world religion provided supernatural powers, would Lord of the Mysteries, would you join a church? I don't think it would be called a religion at that point. I think they just go by different names. And probably for shits and gigs. This is the only time I've ever looked at the EUN directly. This is the only time I've ever looked at the sun directly. Stop looking at the fucking sun directly. You'll hurt yourself. I will say, all of this is interesting wording. Really interesting wording. I also like the idea that all of this could possibly make Klein like a dog. If anything goes wrong in the mystical side of things, or like Beyonders are, or they need a mystery solved, and Beyonders being quite tricky, they can just get Klein and be like, hey, look for shit we can't see. This is a really good part of the novel where Mr. Mysteries, Klein mysterizes all over the mysterious place. You're a dickhead. Something that doesn't exist in this world. Imagine something completely out of thin air. Would things from Earth count? Klein attempted to use his earthly green intercontinental missile he saw on the television. He replaced the top hat with his long and thick missile. However, regardless of how he outlined or imagined it, he ultimately ended up focusing his attention. It doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem like it will work. Klein had no choice but to let his imagination run wild. He outlined the sphere of the sun. He outlined the sphere of the light and with its similar objects, gathering them together. The spheres of light stacked up upon one another. It felt like an object of fantasy. Klein's thoughts gradually turned ethereal and afloat. His body and mind calmed down. The objects did not seem to exist. The fog with the bright clusters of light and the complex colors appeared once again. They floated in the sky in reach. He extended his spirituality inch by inch as he looked down upon them, at them quietly. He sensed it and took it in. Very good. You're experienced of it. You expect as experienced of a seer. You entered cognition very smoothly. You're just slightly worse than me back then. Slightly. Said O'Neill with a chuckle. In that case, I'll be teaching you the most common and easiest I'll be teaching you the most common, easy to grasp, and most useful abilities in the future of mysticism. Spirit vision. He switched off the gas lamps, one after another, but opened the door of the alchemy room. It made a spot where Klein was dark, but not out of the point of failing to point out a silhouette of objects. All right. In your present state, raise your hand and place them in front of your eyes. Your index fingers need to be pointing at each other, but they are not to touch. Open your eyes and keep them open. You are accustomed to the darkness. Huh. Klein completed each step according to old Neil's description. He saw the silhouettes of his fingers and the surrounding objects. Actually, you should be laying down and let your body be entirely relaxed, but since the effect of your concentration is not bad, let's continue. Old Neil laughed. Focus your gaze on a spot behind your hand. It has to be behind. Then slowly move your fingers and maintain the same spot without touching them. Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, my days. Where are the other mods? Did your eyes get sunburnt? They aren't here. It's been a year since I've seen light mode anywhere. Turn light mode on Discord.
It's the fucking baby. You're the only one, Harsh. I forgot how important this chapter was. Klein listened calmly to it and casted his gaze to an empty spot behind his palms. Then he slowly moved his index fingers within his vision. Once, twice, thrice. Suddenly, Klein saw a fiery red color between his fingers. He let out a sound. You see the color. That's right. That's the initial step of spiritual vision. The colors you see is your aura, said Neil in a chuckle. No rush. Do it a few times after stabilizing it. Look everywhere else. I'll take the opportunity to explain to you the different meanings of different colors. All right. Klein moved his fingers back and forth while having his vision trained on the fiery red. O'Neill thought for a moment before saying, to put it simply, the mainstream way of mysticism is to split the non-physical part of the human into 4 levels. Fucking Christ. My brain's burnt. There's just far too much information. I no longer have a kitten. Right. Alright, later, Dante. Okay. It might be me doing the voices. That's like actually getting to me. That's the fucking bad thing. At its core, the soul body, which is also everybody's basic spirituality. There is a school of thought that believes that all biological creatures have spirituality and have a soul body. I'm not sure about anything else, but mystery priors, the goal of cognition, and the method to increase our strength is directed towards the soul body. Outside the soul body is the astral projection. It is the means for the soul body to communicate with the spirit world and with the cosmos. It is considered an external manifestation of the soul body. Besides, it will directly relate to your personal ambition and your prevailing emotions. Okay. The mainstream way. What the fuck is the non-mainstream way? I'm assuming the CEO way. If I had to take a guess. This series loves to throw everything at you all at once and hopes everything sticks. Yeah. Yeah. Thank fucking God I am writing shit down for this. Or else I would not be able to absorb everything that's thrown my way. Absolute nightmare. The scenes you see after consuming the potion are the scenes your astral projection sees when it wanders through the spirit world. That world does not obey the laws of the physical world. It involves exceeding the concept of the limitless. And the universe, the past, present, and future, may be stacked upon one another, and that is the source of divination. You don't need to, you don't really need to absorb everything. The novel is still enjoyable at a low level. Yeah, but fuck that. Where's the fun in that? I like to absorb. If I'm reading something and go out my way to read something, I like to just. In the spirit world, what you see is just imaginary, a symbol. You have to interpret it to understand its actual meaning. Divination and many magical spells can cast through the astral projection. Oh. This is where I listen to the web novels at 2 times speed. But I would not absorb that. Do not mistake its relationship and differences with the soul body. One is the body and the other is a form. Klein continued, looking at the aura between his fingertips and made its simple conclusion. Further out will be the body of the heart and mind. Why is that different from the soul body? Why is that different from the soul body? From this point forth, it will combine with the physical body. It involves your brain and its overall manifestation of your infantile abilities, your analytical abilities, and your observational abilities and identification abilities. Oh my god. Some potions will mainly raise this. Quite a number of magical spells target this as well. Oh my god. If I recall, Klein mentions the concepts a couple of times in the future again. Like I don't really remember jack shit about the soul body shit. That information would not stick with me. At most this is useful for power scalers. So me. The Shadow Slave disguises between the mind and soul, so distinguishes between the mind and the soul also. Yeah. Look at mine. His mind is fucked, but his soul is fine, I think. I feel like if you become a medium of spirituality, then, or a medium of the mysticism, then I don't think your soul could ever be classified as okay ever again, really. O'Neill explained in relatively great detail. And the outmost layer is the ether body. It is the manifestation of your vital energies and physical form. The aura color you see is the external phenomenon of your ether body. In other words, apart from the spiritual bodies, ghosts, and specters you see directly with spirit vision, you may also include certain existences that should not be seen. Oh. See, that one I feel like I should pay attention to. You can also see ether bodies of others from their auras. From their thickness, brightness, and color, you can determine their health and emotional state. When your spirit vision improves and you grasp more mysticism knowledge, you'll be able to discover even more details. You can determine the lifespan of others. By the way, the emotional state I mentioned would also manifest itself into your astral projection. When you go into the highest sequences, your spirit vision will reach a relatively high stage, when someone else's astral projection will also be detectable. Oh. That way you can learn even more things. This is the only way Seism and mystery prayers can attain. Oh, okay. It would be better than okay. So many bodies in Lord of the Mysteries. Bodies and bodies and bodies. Soul body, ether body, your physical body, and then your soul's heart. Then your soul, heart, and mind. All of which are very interesting. Bear in mind the heart and mind. The heart and mind actually seems incredibly fucking boring in comparison. Some fellas even claim that the strongest form of spirit vision allows one to see anything in any place, including the past and the future. However, I'm skeptical about it. It sounds quite powerful. Yeah, this sounds fucking broken when you actually get down to the nitty-gritty of it. A nice warm can of Coke. Amen. I got a dip. Later, Hosh. Have a nice meal. In and out, in and out, in and out. That's all you fucking do. Nice one. Fuck off. Whew. Oh wow, that delay is bad. Also, I just realized we've been on chapter 23 for 32 for fucking ages. Why is this chapter so fucking long? Whew. It sounds quite powerful. Klein was almost turning eager. O'Neill coughed and continued. Let's return to the ether body and the colors of the auras. Your limbs and parts that are required in motion will turn red. Your head and brain surface will appear purple. Spots that excrete waste will turn orange. The digestive system will appear as yellow. The heart and other regulatory systems will appear as green. Your throat and other parts of the nervous system will appear blue. Your entire balanced body will make the body appear cloak in white. That is the symbol of health. Once it turns darker or the thickness thins, the color will change and indicate that the corresponding part has turned problematic. It means in its state of exhaustion or illness. In addition, the inner layers of the astral projection represent prevailing emotions. Red means passion and excitement. Orange means warmth and satisfaction. Yellow means happiness and extraversion. Green means calm and peace. Blue means coldness and stillness. And on that thought, white means brightness and eagerness to improve. Dark colors mean the worry and sorrow and silence. Purple means that spirituality is taking control of the lead, coldness and extractment. Klein silently memorized the information, stabilizing his internal spirit vision. How would it be fair if everyone would see the past, present, and future? I feel like it would be incredibly unfair. Like, regardless of what you do, I feel like that'd just be broken as fuck, regardless of whoever the hell is, like, intervening. Like, am I crazy for thinking that? Baby, I got issues. Hanging with someone else. Spirit vision would be great to have IRL so we can understand women. Oh my god, preach fucking louder, brother. Preach louder, brother. Okay. Oh, it disappeared from me. Why would it disappear? Something's gone on. Wait a minute. There we go. Found it. Found it again. Klein slowly turned his. Good. You can make. You can look at. Good. You can look at other objects. O'Neill did not speak further as he nodded. Klein slowly turned his head and looked at O'Neill. Indeed, he saw different colors in different parts of his body. The aura was both thick and thin in some parts. The purple at his head was the brightest, and his limbs' redness was relatively dark. The overall whiteness of his body was somewhat faded as well. Indeed, he was getting in age. Klein made a silent comment to himself. Only with what he saw did he feel like he was going to become a Beyonder. I am a Beyonder. He shifted his gaze and carefully sized up O'Neill when he suddenly saw the translucent pair of coldness and ruthless eyes, without brows in the void behind him. These nearly illusionary eyes were staring at O'Neill intently, as well as him. This, Klein shuddered as he gasped and said, "You have a pair of eyes behind you." O'Neill was taken aback, and he forced out a smile. "Ignore them." "Bitch, how?" Oh yeah, let's ignore death looming over you. Ah, yes. Let's ignore the... Fucking Christ, Neil. Anyway, chapter 33, thank fuck. That was so long. Fucking hell. I kind of regret making this 40 chapters now. Fucking... How long is this chapter? New beginning. 31 potions. 32 spirit vision. Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. 33. Switch. There you go. cold again. There you go. The moment O'Neill finished his sentence, the illusionary pair of eyes that lurked in the darkness behind him vanished. Even with his spirit vision state, Klein was no longer able to identify traces of its existence. This is a characteristic of ritualistic magic, explained O'Neill in a chuckle. Fascinating. Cause these, I'm surprised you read the chapter 42, cause these chapters are a little info heavy. A little info heavy? I thought these were just gonna be like, oh yeah, they will explain it, whatever. No, I wasn't expecting the entire fucking ability list. Fascinating. Is spirit vision an enhanced vision of yin-yang eyes? Klein felt like a child who had received a new toy. In excitement, he turned his gaze away and began observing every corner of the room. He wanted to see the differences of the alchemy room and in and without the spirit vision. The outlines of the objects in the dark, such as the table, test tubes, scales, and cups in the cutting board, did not look different from how it looked without spirit vision. They did not emit any lights or colors. Objects without lives. Did he have any spirituality? That is the question, isn't it? Klein mumbled to himself as he squeezed his gaze towards the silver chest. Suddenly, he saw a vibrancy of colors. The colors were as blue as the sky, and as repleasant as the stars, or the crimson red as the burning flames. Materials from extraordinary beings still have some life in them, and still active. Even if the source is already dead? Klein deliberated his words as though to sought O'Neill's help. A precise description is that they have remnants of spiritualities. It is one of the crucial points of a successful potion concoction. It is also one of the reasons why the Beyonders will lose control. Dune should have already formed you, explained O'Neill frankly. Yeah, no, that's... I guess that explains why potions... that explains why living things are important for potions. Why living things are so needed for... If they still carry remnants... Them. I completely fucked up the spelling of spirituality. Like, so badly. Oh, actually, never mind. It wasn't that bad. He suddenly laughed, having recalled something. I remember the formula of Corpse Collector requires a desiccated mature black-spotted frog. To consume that potion requires a lot of courage. That's what people complain the most with Lord of the Mysteries. It dumps info early on, which chases off readers who aren't invested in that stuff. I mean, valid though. Can you fucking blame them? Like, usually I'm not that bad at like retaining information or trying to write it down, but that was just like a whoa. Felt like I was fucking trying to read a uni dissertation. He suddenly laughed, having recalled. Oh yeah. Klein imagined it a little and found it disgusting. He did not echo O'Neill's words and turned to gaze to the dark area. However, there was no spiritual bodies or ghosts when he looked towards seeing it. Isn't it said that the spirit world is everywhere? He asked out of curiosity. O'Neill chuckled tensely before saying, Punk, repeat that to me? This is the headquarters of the Evernight Squad. This is ground beneath the Church of Evernight. There are so many Beyonders here. Do you think we will allow spirits or souls to wander around here? Furthermore, the spiritual world and spirits are two different concepts. Klein felt a little embarrassed as he turned his head, pretending to look at the faint lights of the gas lamp at the entrance. I get it. While speaking, the area between his brows began to spasm. What's happening? Just as Klein turned around to ask, he suddenly saw a figure standing quietly at the door prehensively of the light. It appeared human, although its aura colors and the darkness blended perfectly, making it impossible to discern. Klein felt a painful spasm at his gabula. His vision turned chaotic and focused his attention again, but there was no formless figure. Strange. He turned his head and asked, "Mr. Neal, the spot between my brows is a little painful from the spasms." "That is very common. You're a new beyonder. Spirit vision places a Spirit vision creates a great burden on your soul body. Furthermore, it drains you constantly. Physical effects can happen be gabular spasms, headaches, and oversensitivity. The minor bouts of hallucinations, and while viewing things within the spirit vision, it is not. It is very easy to feel uncontrollable as a result of the effects by others. Oh, it's very easy. It's very easy to feel uncomfortable as a result of the other familiar surroundings. It is very easy to have your emotions affected by others. There are other things that require you to pay attention. You can become accustomed to and eliminate them with repeated practice. In addition, use it sparingly and end this timely fashion." Interesting. I won't write that one down. Why does it feel like you are delighted by this? Klein hurried and asked. Then how do I exit from the state of having spirit vision? He planned on mentioning the invisible figure he had seen, though he had heard from the minor bouts of hallucinations among the symptoms. He shook that thought away. From the gasnia spasm and headache, he could completely guess O'Neill's answer. Like before, think of an item to divert your attention. It will bring you out of the cognition. Close your eyes and control your spirituality, and repeatedly tell it to end. When you open your eyes again, you'll discover that your spirit vision has ended. Sounds about right. Of course, that is the most O'Neill described leisurely, and when he was done, added, "Of course, that is the most trivial and clumsy method. We can repeatedly hit ourselves in cognition from practice and affect our own spirituality. That way, you will simply switch. For instance, tapping your gabula twice lightly would allow you to easily activate the spiritual vision. Another 2 taps would simply end it. As for how you set it up, it depends on your habits and preferences." Ah. Literally having the ability to have an on and off button is crazy work. That bitch still over there sleeping? Fuck me. In a place where you aren't supposed to be any random spirits and you see one staring directly at you. Not once, but twice. Maybe it's something outside of the Beyonder's control. It is suspicious. Got it. Klein thought for a moment and planned to imitate O'Neill by tapping his scapula twice as a switch for his spirit vision. Tapping it once was easily mistaken as an insensitive knock to his head, and tapping it thrice would easily would just be a waste of valuable time in dangerous situations. As for actions like snapping fingers, they would draw too much attention. He eased his focus and imagined stacking spheres of light and re-entered the state of cognition. Under O'Neill's guidance, he repeated hints and practice. He finally set up his switch. He clenched his fist lightly and used the index finger joints to tap at his gabula twice. Immediately, there was a glowing aura of differing thickness and colors appearing before his eyes. After another 2 taps, everything would return to normal. I finally grasped at it. He sighed with delight. Only then did he realize how exhausted he was, feeling as though he could fall asleep at any time. His mind hurt as though he had stayed up for 3 nights. Tingen seems to be not important for a place for those powerful beings to be lurking about. I don't think a place has to be important for such powerful creatures to just be lingering about. Let's keep you. It's a slow day. Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. O'Neill said with a chuckle, "We are not sleepless. Every practice and every time spirit vision is used excessively. You need some sleep. You can go back and get some good rest. In the afternoon, go to the Iron Cross Street where Welch's place is and walk around. Try your best to find clues about the Antinous family notebook as soon as possible. Tomorrow, I'll be teaching you about mysticism. Of course, do not forget to read the historical documents." All right. Klein was in full agreement with O'Neill, and with O'Neill's arrangements. Damn. Got boy working like a detective already. Lad. King like should probably do this. He picked up his cane and left the alchemy room. He watched the door close as O'Neill returned to the armory. Klein messaged his Gabriella and Temples with the help of his cane, sauntered up by the stairwell. At that moment, Dune Smith came up from behind and with the corners of his lips hooked. With a deep gaze, he said, "I heard from O'Neill that you were a very suitable candidate. Even without condentation, you were able to see a spirit vision. You were able to use spirit vision." "Perhaps it's a unique trait to a seer," repeated Klein humbly. He guessed that Dune had been watching the armory for O'Neill. It's weird how the anime kind of spoiled everyone on the ending for the volume. You don't. That sucks. Oh yeah, isn't the special coming? Aren't the 3 special episodes coming out in a couple of days? Something like that. At that moment, Dune's Neil slowed down and went ahead of Klein a little bit. After a few seconds of silence, he turned ahead and said, "Do you remember that curiosity killed the cat? That was also it can also kill beyonders. Do not attempt to probe the murmurs, or you should not be listening or seeing existence you should not see." I don't like that. I don't like that. Alright. Klein, that dude, this was another reminder on how Beyonders lose control. After entering Blackthorn Security Company, he greeted Roseanne, who obviously did not know he had become a Beyonder. He slowly walked out the door and reached the streets, and where he took a trackless carriage to Dandelion Street. He nearly fell asleep on his return journey. It was still morning, and the temperature was about 26 degrees Celsius. Klein pulled out a copper key from his... every fucking time. From his waistband and opened the door to his home. There were still many missing items from his home. The living room and dining hall were still empty. Bent and Melissa had work or school, and they both left early in the morning. Klein did not have the capability to bother with anything else. He closed the door briskly and went into the second floor and entered the bookshelf. Equipped bedroom that belonged to him. It's good to know that he got the biggest bedroom. After taking off his tuxedo and hanging it on the clothing rack, he eagerly plunged into bed, and the moment his head hit the pillow, he fell asleep. Klein was awoken by the bright light. He turned his head and slowly opened his eyes to discover the sun was burning outside. Oh fuck, what time is it? Did I miss the tarot club in the afternoon? He struggled to get up and walked to the clothing racket to take out his pocket watch. From the pocket of the tuxedo's inner lining. Not only did he forget about the matter, he forgot to close the door to his bedroom and pulled the curtains to the oral window. Klein pulled out his pocket watch and immediately felt relieved when he opened it. It was only slightly past noon. There was still a lot of time before the scheduled gathering at the 3 in the afternoon. It was Monday, the day he was meant to be gathering with the Hangman and Justice. Way, Ombre and Olga. Klein went into his thoughts as he tapped Gabrielle twice. The scene before him changed once again, and he saw his body that had been restored to a bright luster. Alright, now you can go back there. Oh, sorry. There we go. I watched the first couple of episodes a while ago. It was too fast for my liking. Yeah, that's what everyone said pretty much. Speaking of fast pacing, I was watching I became friends with the second prettiest girl in school. Like, it's been one of my things that are like on the bike for 30 minutes, just watch 2 episodes and then get to the workout. That's a fast paced anime. That pacing in that show is fucking ridiculous. No, finally going to see Ombre. That's an how you spell Ombre. Or is it Andre? I don't know. Andre and Olga again. Yep. Yeah, it's Olga. He tapped it twice to stop his spirit vision, relaxed and went to the first floor and boiled a kettle of water. He placed some inferior quality tea leaves and chewed on some rye bread, dabbed in a little butter. Afterwards, Klein flipped through the historical materials and the original Klein's diary, after revising and consolidating his knowledge. At 2:57 p.m., Klein closed his book and clapped his fountain pen before pulling the curtains. Immediately following that, he locked the bedroom door, making his room turn abnormally dark. He tapped his Gabrielle twice and activated spirit vision to survey his surroundings. After confirming that there was no invisible spiritual bodies in his room, Klein stopped the spirit vision and took out his pocket watch to click the time. 1 minute before 3. He opened up his place. What the fuck? He opened up his pace like before. Took 4 steps counterclockwise, manner in a squirmish shape. Each entered the Chinese softly. Only this time he did not prepare any stable food. Klein opened his eyes and felt back of his hands turn itchy. It felt like the 4 dots forming a square were protruding and projecting something. Hysterical shouts and alluring murmurs began resounding, but Klein realized that the headache was not as bad as the first time. I just realized this entire time This would have probably helped a little bit. They have that in the background. Andre. What could have possibly led to this? Fuck off. It was not that he was unaffected. He was just doing his best to stop himself from listening. As a Beyonder, he had more self-control in such environment. Soon, his body turned lit as he floated up. He saw the greyish white and blurry fog that emanated. Then, he saw dark red stars. He saw two of their minuscule connections with him and the abnormal sense of familiarity. Klein looked at his blurry self and muttered in confusion. The actual projection that O'Neill mentioned? He remained calm for a few seconds and again transformed the opulent divine palace with the two bronze tables turned and doomed ceiling, as well as the 22 high-back chairs that corresponded to the different constellations. Klein calmly walked to the seat of honor and made his body and face an immeasurable... and made his body and face an immense and thick grey fog. He extended his right hand and tapped the two familiar red stars to create miraculous connections. The Gabriel, in humans, the skin between the... Yeah, bitch, we fucking knew this. Woo! Chapter 34. I honestly might make it 35. Been streaming for 12 hours. 3 hours. I've been streaming for 3 hours and 12 minutes. My favorite part of this novel. I love seeing their interactions. It was this entire interaction that made me like... that made me want to carry on. Anyway, Chapter 34, Advanced Payment. In an underground basement without any windows, the blurry Olga Wilson sat at the long table with various extrudes and goatskin parch on it. In front of him was a half-consumed candle. The dim, yellowish flame flickering made the shadows of the object and the table move like a mirage. Olga's hair was disheveled like seaweed with a deep blue color that resembled black. He wore a robe with lightning patterns imbued on it. He clapped his hands together with his thumbs facing each other, while he focused on the bottle of black liquid on the left of the candle. The sounds of tumultuous winds and the crashings of the sea waves howled from inside the sea bottle. As the spots of the black ink did not sink, a faint fog would swirl. It was as though the grey eyes had a mouth. Same, I just wanted to see them in a chair. Yeah. I can't wait to see who the next members are. The next members are going to be very, very, very fascinating to me. Alder cocked his head at a glance and at the clock hanging on the wall and watched the needle strike free. He pressed down on his temples with his eyes turned dark. Fascinating colors surfaced from the various items on the table, and at that moment, he discovered a deep red appeared like a tidal wave from nowhere, drowning him instantly. I skipped through a couple of the episodes and realized I didn't remember Jack. When I'm done with Volume 1, I'll probably watch the anime, I'm not gonna lie. Same with the special episodes, because Season 3 is coming out next year. By the way, where are you reading this, Josh? Somebody in the Discord server had given me a link to a proper physical translation copy. But pretty much this, but like a PDF. But I decided to use it as like the window instead. It's in the server. I think it's pinned in the main chat. Yes. No. I don't know. I can give you the link if you want. Anyway. Blackwood, Emperor's brought inside the Hall family luxurious mansion. After dismissing her dance teacher, Andre locked the door and sat up straight in front of her dressing table. The sun outside was bright and gorgeous. There was a light brown notebook made of an exquisite goatskin. Flipped it open to reveal that it was blank. To its right was a fountain pen with a golden tip and beaded rubies. Ombre did a test to make sure that she could pick up the fountain pen to write down the formula the moment she left the gathering. I'm so looking forward to it. She inhaled and repressed her excited emotions as she looked at the mirror with puckered lips. However, she did not see the reflection of herself. Instead, a dark red and illusory beam burst out from her body. Oh my god. Josh, can you invert your computer's colors? Oh, to make it like white text and a black background? No fucking idea. Nope. Well, shit. Hello, Merlin. I don't think so. I believe the like is in the non-spoiler Lord of the Mysteries channel. Probably. That would make the most amount of sense, wouldn't it? Yep, it is. My eyes are being violated by the bright light. I don't know how to change it for y'all. I don't know. Those are... I don't know. Hello, Evernight. Or Eve Night. I think it's just going to be stuck like this for a bit. Also, is Olga finally captain of that ship? of the ship he was with? Because I have a vague memory that he killed someone. Use read error. Push through it, guys. Do I not have a thingy? 1 minute. Let me try this. I think I might have something for it. Or is it not on this? I don't think it's on this. I think this? I think this might help. Nope. Figure out for the next stream, just read. Yeah. No, It's actually really annoying me that you pointed it out. Accessibility color filters. I'll just save it for the next stream, Harsh. Whoop. Hello, Snowfall. What's up? Above the grey fog stood a majestic divine hall that looked like a giant residence. The dark red colours bloomed from both sides of the bronze table. They surged forward like a fountain pattered down. It carved two blurry figures who sat at the same spot as before. Ombre, with her soft blonde hair and tall, slim body, instinctively looking forward at the seat of honor. She saw a figure emerge in thick grey fog, sitting back, one hand afloat, touching the table aside, while the other one was stroking his chin. "Good afternoon, Mr. Fool," Andre shouted with a cheery voice. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. Anyway. Following that, she turned her head to look at the person opposite her with the same tone. She said, "Good afternoon, Mr. Hanged Man." This lady sure is, unsophisticated. Is she so sure that I'm a good person? Why is there any fear from her? Is she a noble lady who is protected well? Klein smiled and maintained his unfathomable image. "Good afternoon, Miss Justice." As he spoke, he lowered his head slightly, moved his left hand and tapped his gabiole twice. And what he saw changed instantly. He saw Justice and Hangman emit colors of their aura. Surrounding the grey fog and the dark red stars remained the same. Nothing that seemingly did not exist, or lustrous brilliance that possessed life as seen. He shifted his gaze and he saw Justice's aura perfectly matched the colors of that the old Neil described. That was what was supposed to be red and purple or blue, or white, was their respective colors. Furthermore, they maintained a lustrous brilliance that was appropriately thick. It was easy to tell that she was just a vibrant young girl. The colors of her emotions are red and yellow. That's joy, zeal, and excitement. I mean, she's happy. I inverted my colors, and now I see a monster. I put it in I was about to say, please put that in the Discord. You're a dickhead. It didn't screenshot. You're a prick. Those are just normal colors for us, dude. That's just a screenshot of my stream. Truly fucking terrifying. Ugh. Well, did I rub out? No, good. To see that. Whoa, all capital. Oh. Nice. Maybe next time, Harsh. Maybe next time. Like Justice, there was nothing. Klein made a judgment before casting his attention towards Hangman. Like Justice, there was nothing special about the colors of the Hangman's aura. His emotions were blue mixed in with orange, calm, thoughtful, careful, and a little pleased. With this being his first attempt, Klein made the conclusion without much confidence. Just as he shifted his gaze, he suddenly realized something strange. The aura of the Hangman's innermost layers was nearly the same color. Klein focused his mind and took another careful look. He could see that the faint. Oh my god! He could see that the. He could faintly see that the deep within the Hangman's ether body was a deep blue akin to the sea, almost like a tidal storm. His astral projection? Or should I say the surface of his actual projection? From what it looks like, he really is a Beyonder, and one that's apparently stronger than O'Neill. Klein's analysis as his mind was filled with questions. Not necessary. It might have to do with being a unique environment. It's only because this is my home ground that I'm able to see things that O'Neill did not manifest. He turned his head towards Justice again and confirmed that the characteristics only Beyonders possessed. At that moment, Olga also completed his greeting. Aubrey drew a light gasp as she asked in anticipation. Mr. Hangman, did you receive the box of the ghost shark blood? Olga took a look at Klein and he saw him tapping his Gabrielle as he thought of considering other matters. Thank you very much. It perfectly met my expectations. I never expected you to send me it so quickly. The ghost shark blood is not a typical extraordinary creature. It's not a typical extraordinary creature, said Olga frankly. Henri smiled and humbly and said, I'm very happy to see this outcome. As she loved to do anything to do with mystery from a young age, she had befriended those in the aristocratic circles with similar interests. They had exchanged information, books, and rare artifacts among each other. But before this, none of them had ever attained any supernatural powers to become a real Beyonder. Instead, there were a few prices that hinted that they could gift her what she wanted if she was the princess cohort. But before this, none of them had... Oh, yeah. However, she obtained the ghost shark blood directly from her family's vault. After all, the inventory only needed one big bottle. Without mentioning how many milliliters or how full it needed to be, she believed that pouring a little bit of it would have gone unannounced. Even if there was an accident, the matter was exposed, her parents were unlikely to pursue the matter. Olga looked deeply at the fool who was enveloped in a fog before turning his head back with a smile. According to our agreement, I need to tell you the formula of the potion, Spectre. Let me prepare myself. Alright. Begin. Aubrey exhaled as she focused with her full attention. Low secret potions are very easy to concoct. Just follow the orders that I provide to you. Do remember that they can be smaller quantities of the ingredients, but no more. They can only that will only cause major problems. You should have heard about Beyonders lose control. I believe that there's no need for me to repeat it. Olga first mentioned things to take note of. Aubrey nodded gently and said, I understand completely. When she spoke, she finally turned her head to Mr. Fool. She wished to know if the mystery expert had anything to add. Unfortunately, the fool was sitting silently there like a statue. Olga thought to mention before saying, having smaller quantities did not mean it should divert by too much. If you do not have an assistant, I suggest you have some time familiarizing yourself with the chemistry requirements. I have a family tutor for such matters. Okay, rich bitch. Answered Aubrey without feeling the burden. After Olga mentioned the furthest extent of the divination, he recited with great frequency. Spectre. Oh, fuck, right. I should probably write that down. Spectre. Spectre. Did I write Spectre down? Like, anywhere? Midnight Poet, Corpse Collector, Seer, Apprentice, Martyr. Nope. Spectre. Sequence 9. Spectre. You should. Apparently not. And if I did read about it, then it was probably because it was early chapters and I wasn't really taking notes properly until a lot of you were bitching at me to do so. You did so. Now look at Discord. What a lovely sight to see. I will say the Lord of the Mysteries in the background does look sick. There we go. Spectre, Sequence 9 Potion. 80 milliliters of pure water, 5 drops of Autumn Crocrook Sequence, 13 grams of cow teeth penetral powder, 5 petals of elf flowers, a pair of matured manhole fish eyeballs, 35 milliliters of goat horned black fish blood. And the final 2 items are the main ingredients. They are the extraordinary creatures of the sea. You should be careful. Alright. Andre recalled the oh my god, recalled and repeated 80 milliliters. Yeah. With his help, Andre gradually and precisely memorized the formula's order. Oh, I know what the Seer's abilities remind me of. It's the Arplex disability from the Vampire of Masquerade, the part of the world Darkness. I've never played Vampire of Masquerade. I've heard of it. Been a long time since I've heard of it, but I have heard of it. Do you know about cognition? When Olga saw Justice nod, he continued. Then I do not know. He continued. I do not know how much you know about cognition. Let me describe it once. After consuming the potion, quickly begin cognition to control your spiritual and energy. Make sure to practice every day to truly grasp the powers of the potion. Dig out the meaning, its symbols, and even more of its mysteries. That way you can avoid dangers of losing control to the greatest extent. And the meaning of a potion mainly lies in its name, such as Spectre. Klein silently listened to the conversation and had no plans of interrupting. All he did was secretly memorize and study. Fuck's sake. But when he heard that, he suddenly had a thought. Ombre listened to the hangman's explanations attentively. And as she was about to inquire about something more detailed, she suddenly heard the rapping sound at the table. She and Olga turned their heads to look at the fool. They realized that the mysterious and mighty figure was tapping gently with his fingers, in his deep voice. It's not about grasping them, it's rather digesting them. It's not about the discovery, but rather acting. The name of the potion is not only symbolic, it's also imaginary. It is the key to digestion. Ombre was dazed and confused from hearing that. She was not very clear on what Mr. Fool was trying to express. She subconsciously eyed the hangman for a reaction from the corner of her eyes. She was surprised to see him jolt and freeze. It was as though the ordinary man had heard a loud and sudden clap of thunder. Digestion, acting, digestion, acting, digestion, acting. Key. Olga repeated it again and again, softly, as though he had grasped the key to the concept or had succumbed to the strange curse. After a while, he raised his head and said in a hoarse voice, "Thank you, Mr. Fool. Your hint is valuable as my life. You should have enlightened me greatly. Of course, I believe I have yet to fully understand or comprehend this." I wonder why, though. I wonder what the actual idea between the differences between digestion, consuming, and understanding is for this story. Because clearly all three are to do something with not only your mind, your stomach, but your soul. Right, there's understanding it, there's digesting it, and then there's imagining it. Why those three specifically? I guess all three of those are the main functions of the, body. Right, I guess within this world, spirituality being a real thing, so understanding it spiritually, that makes the most amount of sense, obviously. Acting it is...
is a really interesting one for me specifically. Especially coming from someone who's literally named the Fool. Trying to give out this information. Because to act it out, you'd have to believe it. I guess in this essence. Brother's just saying something he heard. I mean, yeah, that's true.
The one time the Fool speaks, the hangman knocks out a character and presents the new information. Fuck it, I'll think about it later. Fuck it, I'll think about it later. I've been up for far too fucking long to be trying to digest the information. Fuck off. Klein maintained his mysterious and unfathomable image by saying with a smile, "That was an advance payment." In fact, he did not truly understand the exact meaning of what he said. He was certain that Emperor Rosal was more powerful than the typical Beyonder and stronger than the Hanged Man. Advance payment? Ombre looked at the Hangman's reaction and knew that the hint from before was precious. She ruminated over it and asked, "Mr. Fool, what do you wish for us to do?" Opposite from her, Olga said in a nod. What matter might you wish to entrust us with?" Klein leaned back slightly and glanced at the two of them before saying in a soft voice, "Collect Rosdell Gustav's secret diary on my benefit, even if it's just one page of it. Fucking maybe." I don't know why I said that. I read fucking Hars's comment and I said fucking maybe. Fucking interesting is what I was trying to say. Huh. Josh's hair is looking luscious today. Thank you, Alan. I am saying good night. Since I also are streaming. All right. Thanks, Alan. Enjoy your night, lad. All right. Chapter 50. 50. In like 4 weeks, maybe. 35. Sleep is for the weak. That comment's really fucked me. I was power scaling Lord of the Mystery Gods and Pillars versus Shadow Slave Gods and versus Shadow Slave Gods with Quibi at 2 a.m. Why would you do that? Are you gonna finish this one, or are we gonna be pushing any further? I'll finish this one. It's just that comment of digestion and the different parts of like and how cognition really affects you when consuming a potion. I look really small. The idea of digesting, acting, and legitimately trying to understand shit is really fascinating to me when it comes to activating the sequence at its fullest potential. There you go. Nice and warm, buddy. Really interesting to me. Sleepers for the week dies. Looking at the Russian sleep experiment, I will gain secrets of the universe. Dog, if you want secrets of the universe, just take drugs. Anyway, chapter 35. Exchange of information. Roselle Gustav's secret diary? Emperor Roselle? Indeed. Only such matters are worth the concern of the mighty figure like Fool. Ombre was taken aback before she realized that she had found it nothing surprising. Well, did Neil explain how you can move past sequence 9 yet? Nope. He just explained how to calm down the fucking thingy with that. The spirit vision. The rumor had it that Emperor Roselle had once seen the blasphemy state. Oh, the blasphemy slate. It was once said that the secret cards he created hide in 22 paths of divinity. This was something that every high sequence beyond her would definitely pay attention to. Diary? That's a diary. Olga frowned slightly as he neatly noticed this tidbit. The item in which Roselle Gustav had left behind had described by Mr. Fool as a diary? How did he know? How did he determine it? How could he know of a way to decipher Roselle's cryptic text? And I love how it's cryptic text when it's just Chinese. It's simplified Chinese at that. That's really funny. Faced with the hangman's question and having obtained the desired effect, Klein leaned back in his chair and interlocked hands. He answered in a relaxed manner. First, let us view it as a diary for now. He did not confirm or deny it. Ombre had heard the children of the nobles mention the matter. However, she had not really learned much of it. With her curiosity piqued, she asked. It said that Emperor Roselle, diary was written in a cryptic language or symbols he invented. Yes, answered Olga simply. Some people believe that it was a unique set of symbols from mysticism. Others believe that it is a hieroglyph. But up to today, no one's found the correct way to decipher it. At the very least, that's all I know. With that said, he turned his head to Klein in a bid to get some confirmation to show his suspicions. They are texts that have been passed down for generations, so are no longer in their original state. According to your line of thought, how could it be deciphered? Klein maintained his calm as he secretly gave his self-deprecating laugh. From the sounds of it, it sounds like you climbed the sequence ladder in a manner in which you experience your existence will change. Yeah, pretty much. The fool passes gas. Olga is like, oh my god. Oh my god, he's real. Oh my god, he... Fucking Christ. I hate myself so much. Talk about a self-deprecating laugh. For how to handle the symbols and mysticism, he instantly thought of a ridiculous and funny scene. Dressed in a black pointed hat and a long robe, an evil mage pulled up his sleeve and revealed symbol tattoos on his arm. It was said that the symbols, with his mysterious powers, left behind the Emperor Roselle. They were written in 2 blue, large, simplified Chinese characters. Retarded Joker. The fool sneezed. Olga. I love how Klein thinks the Emperor is just a fucking fool. I got scared for a second. The PTSD, if you know, you know. And Shadow Slave thought that some aspect abilities and flaws would affect in how characters experience the world in some way. You mean Guna? The corners of Klein's mouth curved upwards slowly as he finds himself in a good mood. After hearing the Handman description, Omri said in a stumbled manner, "We don't understand the symbols or the words. Then how can we pass the information to you, Mr. Fool? Should we mail it somewhere?" This is an important question. I did not have the means to accept the item secretly. Klein was in no hurry to answer. He repeatedly released his thumbs from his interlocked hands before tapping them back again. That is a solid question, Ombre. Didn't some people get violently sick after paying for cosplayers' free water? Oh yeah, no, they got violently sick. Like 8 people got really, really fucking sick off that. And the Grand Goonet himself. Klein was in no hurry to answer. He repeatedly released his. Oh yeah, I've already read all that. Soon, he thought of a solution. Since I can create a divine palace and the tablets here according to my wishes, would it be possible to project the contents in the minds of others here too? I'll give it a try. At that moment, Andre and Olga saw Mr. Fool slowly sit up amidst the thick grey fog. Miss Justice, let us give it as a try. Imagine a paragraph of text and give it the emotions of writing it with urgency. Yes, pick up the fountain pen beside you and write it on a piece of paper. Before Klein could finish the sentence, Ombre picked up the piece of yellowish-brownish goatskin, parched as a dark red fountain pen in front of her. She picked up the fountain pen, both curiously and doubtful. In accordance to the instructions, she imagined the poem Emperor Roselle wrote. If winter comes, can spring be far ahead? After scrutinizing the text, she picks up the fountain pen and imbued them with the desire of projecting them out. Klein sensed the emotions, and using the fountain pen as the medium, he guided her. The moment Ombre landed the fountain pen, she saw a line appear on the goatskin parch. If winter comes, can spring be far ahead? Goodness, how fascinating! Ombre exclaimed in astonishment, while feeling rueful. Following that, she looked at Klein with some fear. Mr. Fool, can you read what I'm writing? No, I'm only guiding you. I simplified the process of writing for you and made it become an imprint. If you do not wish to press it, nothing will appear. Klein placed it. Oh my god. Klein placed her with a low tone. Is that so? Then we just need to memorize the symbols, or the way that the cryptic text looks, and present it directly as we wish. Ombre heaved a sigh of relief as she asked the enlightenment. They got violated by that liquid. I could never be down bad. Couldn't be me. Miss Justice or Cassie? Cassie, because she's an adult. From what I understand, Miss Justice is like, what, 16, 17 here? Cassie, the blind cook of the chair. We all know the biggest gooner in LOTM. I fucking don't. What's up? What's up, little one? Snowman's came to say hi. Actually. No, Snowball came to say hi. Go down the arm. Come on, get down. You can do it. There you go. Oh no. Fuck. Alright. Stream's gonna have to end early. Yeah. Yeah. Why? Unfortunately, as I feel in my hands right now, Blizzard is gone. I'm sorry. We tried. Well, that's put me in a bad mood. Fuck. Sorry, little one. I've gotta text my mother now. Fuck's sake. Ah. Man, that sucks. Hear how accurate the music is? Yeah, you know, I can hear it very faintly from my headphones. Oh well. Well, I'm gonna set up a light outside and bury the little guy. Well, bye. I've got no more in me. That's really killed my mood. That's really taking me out. Fucking, where is it? No. There. Save it there. Bye, chat.